Money work.
Just 1, 2.
El mundo quiere dinero.
Is it torch in that house?
Money work. Se arregla con dinero.
Big show tonight. Here we go.
Money work. Si me quiero educar, dormir en algún lugar. Un lugar para trabajar, y si no hay para emigrar. Todo money, money, todo el dinero. Solo un par de gente se lleva el putín entero. Funny, funny, pasa verdadero. Si tienen lo verde siempre llegará primero. Pero llegaremos antes o después. Solo a lo suyo, que Dios todo lo ve. Que por más que tarde lo veré caer. Somos más lo bueno y tenemos fe. El dinero ya lo veré. No vendo mi alma, lo lograré. Seré el más grande, no olvidaré de dónde vengo ni cómo voy. Money work. Yeah. El mundo quiere dinero. Money work. Se arregla con dinero. Money work. Yo digo las cosas como son. No quiero ninguna aceptación. Tampoco vengo a pedir perdón porque mis sentimientos se volvieron la canción. Yeah. No me vale mucho como tú me ves. Sabes, tú me llegas solo a los pies. Para mí ser grande es un
We're about to get this party started.
El dinero ya lo veré. No vendo mi alma, lo lograré. Seré el más grande, no olvidaré.
If you're in the house, put a 1 in the chat.
Money work. Yeah. El mundo quiere dinero. Yeah. Yeah. Money work. Se arregla con dinero. Yeah. Money work. Corazón. De corazón, la plata no te hace ser feliz. Yeah, de corazón, la plata no te hace ser feliz.
Break it down.
Money work. El mundo quiere dinero. Yeah, 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 yeah. Money work. Se arregla con dinero. Money work.
All right, on the 1 and 2 for you. This is DJ Torch right here at the DJ Torch Friends Live Network. About to get this going.
You women that you need to be submissive and be cooperative and obey.
Let me bring this back a little bit. Here we go. Get some volume up on this.
You said that Kevin is your friend. I'm gonna come at you with a little bit of smoke, and I'm gonna ask you a question. Why you said that Kevin is your friend, right? And you name drop him a lot, right? I noticed you do. You name drop him. How come you didn't attend his funeral?
This went in a direction I was not expecting it to go.
Welcome, Quita.
Why are you worried about what
With the why is seeking knowledge.
Visit her friend's funeral? You don't know what I've been through emotionally. You don't know what I've been doing with the family. Ho.
You don't scare me.
Get into the warm up. Just get into the warm up.
Really, nigga?
Y'all, I'm here still in DR. I missed my flight last night. I just got off the phone with Spirit. I'm waiting on them to call me back. It's $100 reschedule fee. Basically, I need a cash app.
You serious?
To try to get this fee together, man. I'm so sick right now. I'm sick as hell.
I bet you are.
I've I'm trying to call Kayla because I know she's like in the area.
Let me pause it right here. We are going to be having a Passport Bro live stream coming up soon, but we're going to dig deep. We're going to dig deep into the psychology of the Passport Bros and why they do what they have to do and why they keep doing it, even though it has to be done. So check it out when it comes up. Quita Ward in the house. She says, LAML, basically, I need a cash. I know, dude out in the middle of nowhere whining for a cash app. Here we go.
Once we start getting in our 30s and our 40s,
What?
we realize that, man, we wasted a whole lot of time over nothing.
Over what?
So I was trying to call her to like set something up to where I can get like some actual money because I'm hungry.
Today's show almost didn't happen.
Oh, there he is. There's the creep. Let's see what he has to say.
Because the internet man wanted their money, and they wasn't going to wait until the eagle flies next week.
Once we start getting in our 30s and our 40s, we realize that, man, we wasted a whole lot of time over nothing.
Kevin Samuels, according to this document, this legal document, was making $900 a month. Kevin Samuels was making $900 a month.
That's all,
Kevin
folks.
Samuels was making $900 a month.
There's your Kang. There's your Kang. Kang Samuels. Kang Samuels making that big money. No matter why he was so pissed off. Welcome, Corey. Welcome, Corey. That's why he was so mad. Look, he was a low-value man, and she reminded him of that every day, not being mean to him, but bringing home the real bacon, bringing home the real money, literally 3 times as much as he was making.
If I didn't stutter, Kevin Samuels was making $900 a month in 2005, while his wife was making $2,400. Wow.
Once we start getting in our 30s and our 40s, we realize that, man, we wasted a whole lot of time over nothing.
Over nothing.
Different mothers?
Well, a lot of baby mamas.
Yeah. What do I think about?
Let me pause it right here. This is the funny part about this. This is how the manosphere dudes think. Let me break it down for you right now, because he mumbles a lot, so you may not hear what he says. Okay. Miss Michelle here, okay? She is interviewing, Austin Holloman, right? And basically, she's asking him about his dad, who Papa was a Rolling Stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. And that's why she was asking. It's like, what's up with that? And this is the reply she gets. Listen closely.
A lot of time over nothing.
Different mothers?
Well, a lot of baby mamas.
Yeah. What do I think about that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was my first step to knowing that about the whole high value man talk. Just proved everything Kevin Samuels used to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So, Austin thinks that a high value man is somebody who spreads his sperm all over the community. He really does. Papa was a wrong. Let's shut up.
So, I heard him say in an interview one time that women would rather be 7 of one than 1 of a plumber, and that I'm a child that shows that.
Can you hear that shit?
Maybe she was the breadwinner in their marriage. Maybe he was being supported by his ex-wife.
Once we start getting in our 30s and our 40s,
what are we doing?
We realize that, man, we wasted a whole lot of time
over what?
For nothing.
Oh.
Maybe that's why she filed for divorce. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Once we start getting in our 30s and our 40s,
what happens?
We realize that, man, we wasted a whole lot of time
over what?
For nothing.
But he is telling you women that you need to be submissive and be cooperative and obey.
Got it. Got it.
And so the things that we believed in our 20s,
Meanwhile, it looks like she was making all the money. He also told the young people that he was in corporate America for 26 years and he was a high performing salesperson in New York and San Francisco. And we cannot verify any of that. Every time we look him up, we find mug shots. We find he was making $900 a month.
This went in a direction I was not expecting it to go.
You know, look, I understand it's not going the way you thought it was gonna go.
Once we start getting in our 30s and our 40s,
what happens?
we realized that, man, we wasted a whole lot of time.
Over what?
Over nothing.
Got him.
I understand.
You can crush narcissist entitlement.
Yeah.
How you
Yeah,
a child?
Wait a minute,
What does
rewind.
that mean?
Go back. We have
Let me pause it right there. We can keep this party going. Keep this party going. We have Kimberly coming up soon. But before we do that, we're going to pump up the party. We're going to pump up the party. Let's check and see what's going on with Gayle now. Gayle, break it down.
You got knocked the out, man.
Let me pause this right here. Okay. Is this the one I wanted? Let's see. Let me play her right there.
It's my 28th wedding anniversary, and I was giving some details about how I met my husband. And I told you all earlier that, you know, we're going through this process right now. I can't share too much of it, but I would share everything once we kind of get through. And I feel the need to address this. I really shouldn't have to, but I want to. So I ain't nobody's victim, and I ain't having nobody's pity party. So my original post was about me seeing him and her for the first time in the airport. I admitted that I was shocked. I was. And the video was only about 7 seconds where I said, have a good flight. I think I said, hey, Harold, have a good flight. And I walked on off, right? And I turned the video off after that. And then I said something like, you know, that's his mistress. He's my husband. I'm the wife. And I went on back to where I was sitting in the Sky Club and say anything else. So I guess she's is saying something about when we got to the gateway to get on the plane. Yeah, I said some things to him, but he's my husband, so I can say whatever I want to say to him. And it's just like kicking any trash can. You kick it, and the trash may get over on you too. So some of it, she might have caught some of the flack, but that's just par for the course when you do this kind of stuff.
Okay, I just wanted to give you that quick intro on the situations, just in case you missed it. This is Gayle, Gayle Lewis for now, but let's break it down. This is going to be nasty. Here we go.
To reach out and file them when I get back and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, let me rewind this a little bit. This is Everyday PJ. Okay.
This morning, I posted a lengthy and detailed video stating that today was my 28th wedding anniversary, and I was giving some details about how I met my husband. And I told you all earlier that
Mr. Snoopy in the house, Quita Ward in the house, KB in the house, Why Seeking Knowledge in the house.
We're going through this process right now. I can't share too much of it, but I would share everything once we kind of get through.
Corey in the house.
So the need to address this. I really shouldn't have to, but I want to. So I ain't nobody's victim, and I ain't having nobody's pity party. So my original post was about me seeing him and her for the first time in the airport. I admitted that I was shocked. I was. And the video was only about 7 seconds where I said, have a good flight. I think I said, hey, Harold, have a good flight. And I walked on off, right? And I turned the video off after that. And then I said something like, that's his mistress. He's my husband. I'm the wife. And I went on back to where I was sitting in the Sky Club and say anything else. So I guess she's is saying something about when we got to the gateway to get on the plane. Yeah, I said.
Okay, wait, let me pause that. Go forward. I want to get to the good stuff.
The only thing that I'll say about that was, I did start dating him after he filed for divorce. And I think from the time I met him, to the time he divorced was like a 10-month span. So those first 3 months, I didn't say anything to him, like romantically.
I think that was wrong though. I think she sort of started dating him right before he lied about being married. And usually the best thing to do, ladies and gentlemen, is that if somebody is talking about they're in the middle of the divorce, they're in the middle of a divorce. So, usually best to steer clear, especially when the divorce had to do with infidelity, because usually they're going to pass that on.
Because I was not attracted to him, and that is for real. If you see the picture of him before, you'll know why, but he was a nice guy, so I'm just saying. But I'll say that, maybe me dating him before the divorce was final was wrong, and I'll take accountability for that, but I can't go back, 30 years now. And
exactly, Quita, she lost him the way she got him.
Correct that. I'm just trying to move forward and do what's right, but Miss Thing is trying to paint this narrative like, oh, she was doing the same thing. Not the same thing at all, because my whole time I was encouraging him to stay with his people. She did not. I have the text messages between them from the day they met to, all the things that he was telling her, the things she was telling him, and telling him that she didn't have anything and that she left her family with just the clothes on her back, and, just this little sob story for him. So I guess he went with it. But like I said, this was originally about me posting a video of me seeing them for the first time in the airport. So I ain't judging her. I ain't gonna judge him. Like I said, I'm not, but it ain't like I willfully went out and decided I'm gonna go and destroy his family. It was nothing like that. So a lot of us were deceived. A whole bunch of us were deceived. So that is what he has done. That's what he continues to do. So I'm gonna let it be what it is. And like I said, once we get further down the road in this process, I can share some things. I don't know how to share the receipts on here. I thought you could only do videos. So anybody that knows how you can post pictures and all of that.
Queen Award breaks it down. So the side piece got side pieced.
Of the text messages, I'll show you that I ain't got no lie to tell. And the whole time I never talked to my husband's former wife. Only conversation we ever had was when she would bring the kids over and stuff like that. But she never said anything to me about me being the cause. But I did find this out, that after she found out that he and I was breaking up, she told someone that she was like, oh, she finally found out after all these years. She finally found out who he really is, because I think I mentioned in the earlier video about him telling me about how she was not having any kind of intimate relationship with him. And he thought it was because she was depressed and, had some postpartum and all of that. Turns out, word got back to me. She was like, I wasn't depressed, or I didn't have postpartum either. It was because I was tired of being in the doctor's office because he kept giving me stuff. So,
what kind of stuff? What kind of stuff? What kind of stuff?
I'm gonna just leave it there, guys. And like I said, once all this is over, I'll come back and give you plenty of details.
High value man giving out high value STDs. A high value man giving out high value STDs. He's manosphere all the way. You guys got to own it. You got to own it.
Old girl can keep telling all the stories she wants, but they hanging, they doing their thing. I just got a message from a woman this morning who saw them out in Dallas last night at Trulux and said that, old girl got pregnant by her husband some years ago while she lived in California. So she was.
JG says this. She got some nerve talking about how she was deceived. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the thing is there's a point where a person is intelligent enough to know to say the words, "Let me see the paperwork." So she's not as nearly, let's face it, between the two, her and her husband, she is the pseudo victim. But at the same time, there were some things where it's kind of a little bit sketchy. It's like, look, he was taken. She should have just really moved on to somebody else. He didn't sound like anybody special. She makes it clear that he wasn't. He was out of shape at the time. Okay. And she actually made him a better person, that's for sure, because he's in better shape now. But she was out of shape at the time. He was out of shape at the time. And he was a hoe. And I guess he still is.
looks like she's all about the money. So, and she is. And I'm telling you, y'all, yeah, I've lived a privileged life, but I've earned everything I've got here in this household. When he was sick, when he was doing all his other stuff, when he had to get shit off of him, she wasn't here. I was wiping shit, cleaning up vomit, and all the things that a wife would do. So for that, for better or worse, yeah, I stuck in between all of that. So.
Damn, wiped his A. When he was sick and vomit, he must have, what did he have? Damn. I mean, first he has STDs, and now he's making her his bed wife. Damn.
Like I said.
And he pays her back by cheating on her. Multiple times. Multiple times. Queen Award breaks it down just like this. So he was out of shape. He was an out of shape hoe. Yep. And she was a ride or die then. Yep. Yep. That's nasty. She should have gotten her own man and stopped listening to his lies. Exactly. I agree. And this is the perfect example and the perfect lessons. If they're entangled with, if really marriage or even relationship, if somebody is entangled with somebody else, then run. Whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. If somebody's entangled with somebody else, leave. I have never seen a situation where hanging it out with a cheater, okay, is a good thing. Just because you're the one benefiting from the cheater doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. So JG Music says this, and I repeat it once again. She should have gotten her own man, ding, and stop listening to his lies. Bars, once again, she sounds stupid. Yeah, and at her age, that's not the cool thing to do. She was a come-up woman, yeah. And she came up on again. Well, how does that song go? The cleanup lady? Cleanup lady. And she was literally the cleanup lady. She was literally the cleanup lady. I mean, literally the cleanup woman. She was cleaning up his butt, his poop coming out his butt when he was sick, cleaning up his vomit, he's getting STDs. Jeez. It's a shame when a woman has to consider wearing a condom. That's crazy, isn't it? Act Natural Under Pressure is in the house. Hearing that you can't pay me to get married, and become a pick-me. Hey, fam. Yeah, I'm telling you, Red Headphones is in the house. It's good to see everybody up in the house. Here we go.
I'm going to end this right here. You can say what you want, judge how you want, but it's all good. I'm going to be good in the end. I was just sharing and hoping that my story would empower someone else to not be embarrassed, to stand up on your own, but it is what it is, and I'm living for today. Hope y'all have a good one.
Let me pause it right there. Here's the thing. Side chick culture withstanding. She was extremely fit, feminine, and friendly to this man from the beginning, to the point where she was side chicking as well. Okay? And he still treated her like shit. So it goes to show you, which I will continue to repeat on this channel, that all that crap Kevin Samuels was talking was exactly that. The same stuff that was coming out of his butt that she had to wipe up. Let's put it that way. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to keep a man who's a hoe around. He is going to be a garden tool all day, every day, if that's how he's brought up to be a garden tool. I'm telling you. So, and the funny thing is this, I can't repeat this anymore. These men are listening to a man who admits being a garden tool. When you tell men Just because you bend the words saying something like, I have 6 women in rotation, that's still pookie. That's still pookie behavior. Okay? That's why people don't realize that's why King Samuels was single. Because he was a H-O-E. He was a ho, you know he He got $16 at a dollar show. He's a ho, you know he a ho. I'm telling you, that's what he was. Just like all the other dudes. Welcome, Conscious Mind, love in the house. Corey Coburn breaks it down like this. Side chicks become slide chicks. On to the next stop. How you got them will be the way you lose them. And that's the way it is, because a hoe is always a hoe. He's got 16 cents out of dollar show. He a hoe. He done a hoe. I mean, look. Houdini just exposed all men, okay, in our community. I see, y'all don't remember when that song was released. I do. And let me tell you, the brothers back then, which is around the age that Kevin was, right? They were dancing to it, singing to it. They were singing to the song with a proud look on their face. I know I'm a oh. I got 16 cents at a dollar show. I know there's some other lyrics, but I'm telling you, it was back then, it was the jam. And let me tell you, I would get fired if I didn't play that track. Let's put it that way. And all the dudes, they were singing it louder than anybody. The dudes were like, and pointing to themselves like this. You know how they do that back in the day? Yeah, you know, like this. Yep, they were doing all that back in the day. All of it. I'm telling you. Why Sync of Knowledge breaks it down like this. Bandits are just bandits. Their manhood is tied to their philandering. Yep, it is. If they don't, amongst black men, you smell like an apple cinnamon. I'm telling you. 16 cents at a dollar show. He's a oh. He know he's a oh. How do I know? Because they told me so. Because they told me so. Because they told me so. They was pointing to themselves like this and shit. I'm a hoe. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's what they were doing. And now they try to kind of cover it up, but that's all they're about. I'm just telling you. Okay, here we go. We're going to break into our meat of the matter. Welcome one of the queens of BWE, I would say. I guess she would be. Yeah. Anyway, let me break it down. Here she is right here.
Particularly, what people are generally most shocked by is how my boyfriend was affected. And yeah, it's crazy. But I'm not done, because the story is multi-layered.
This is the story of For Harriet featuring Kimberly. Here we go.
And so I tacked it on to the end of
Mystic Moon. I'm going to be dropping the link down soon if anybody wants to come up. We're going to start early tonight.
That video, but there is another aspect of it that I wanted to explore here, and that is the role of women. You know, I am a Black feminist because I believe deeply in the fight for a better world. I think the world that we live in now, a world that is marked by inequality, inequity, injustice, violence, it doesn't have to be this way. A lot of how we're living right now are because of the choices that people are making. And because I think change is possible, I am a feminist, and hopefully we can encourage people via activism, via organizing, via scholarship, via writing, and via this kind of content creation to make better choices and choose a different fight. Unfortunately, what I have found since I started doing the work at For Harriet at 21 years old in my college dorm room is that there are a number of women, particularly Black women, who are not deeply invested in the fight for justice. Or
Ain't that for truth? She's talking about the ma'ams and the nams.
there are women who say that they are fighting for justice or gesture towards those fights, but it's actually insincere. And when you dig just a little bit deeper, when you scratch below the surface, you realize that they are actually deeply invested in undermining not only larger progress, but the
Thank you, Act Natural Under Pressure. Everybody hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Here we go.
forward movement, the evolution, the growth of other Black women who aren't them. So I wanted to dig into that. All right. So just so we are all on the same page, I'm defining digital terrorism as the use of cyberstalking, cyberbullying, harassment, doxing, and threats to achieve political aims.
Ew, ew, there. Man, this dude right here had nerve to be talking smack about Black women, most of which had more than him, looked better than him, were more respectful than him, and didn't have a criminal record either. Allegedly. It's a shame and sad to me that such low character human beings can wreak so much havoc on a platform, but they do. This man right here has a lot of twins on YouTube that are mentally ugly, physically ugly, run down, and disgusting. I have nothing good to say about this person after he really sold out the manosphere to mince pearly things. He literally sold out the man. See, that's the funny part, is that's how low self-esteem the manosphere is, where they literally hired the first bigoted, in my opinion, Caucasian woman they could find to run them. Think about that. Out of all the women, all the Chez Chardes out there, all the Crimson Crime, all the Melanie Kangs out there, y'all chose one of the most average at best looking Caucasian women to run you. And yet you want to come off as strong. In the house. The enlightened fam is in the house. I mean, think about it. Uh-oh, a jet's going up. Here comes a jet. But think about it. Out of all those women, Black women, all those Black ma'ams that was in the manosphere working hard for you, defaming their own women all day, every day. And y'all do, hi, Miss Pearly. Hi, Miss Pearly. Do you want some wild man? Hi, Miss Pearly. Can we drive you down the street? That's what y'all did. Gave all your power to her. She could be running you now if she wanted to. Elvieto Pues is in the house. She could be running you now. She could be dogging you guys out, and you guys be left sitting there like, what else you want me to do for you, Miss Pearly? What you want me else to do for you, Miss Pearly? Clean your rug for you, Miss Pearly? What you like to eat tonight, Miss Pearly? And this guy right here was her house bandit. Let's keep it going. Sorry to go on that tangent, but I did. Hey.
I'm sorry. Every time I see the picture, every time I see it, my soul gets disturbed, right? Okay. So, this is
Agnatural Under Pressure says this. I don't know who that is. Agnatural Under Pressure. That makes you a wise person if you don't. You don't want to know who this fool is. Yeah. This a manosphere dingleberry.
Manosphere influencer. In case you missed that explanation, this man I am going to refer to in this stream as either Mark Robinson, or my digital terrorist. I'm being very careful not to say the name that he uses for his brand, because I would sooner die than legitimize that trash on this platform.
Amen to that. See, this is why, and this is a perfect example why you can't do the bus driver or light bill thing. Because men, whether they know you or not, will resent you for it. Kevin resented his wife. Okay? It just doesn't work. It's a mental issue men in the community cannot work through. So look, that struggle love is not, it's not going to work. Here we go.
I also think that the anonymity that the internet provides, or the anonymity that some people who aren't super technologically savvy feel like that the internet provides, it encourages people to be exceptionally nasty and do things that they would never do or never cop to when attached to their real names. Their
Bars. Again, he's not the only one. I've seen these creeps all over the place. All over the place.
Legal names. So that is why here, despite these people using pseudonyms in their manosphere work, I am using
something's wrong with his mind.
Their legal names. Okay. Mark is 55 years old. He resides in the Philadelphia area. He bills himself as some kind of intellectual, and he describes himself as a, quote, king of his subsection of the manosphere.
Kang, okay? Can we get it right? K-A-N-G.
In 2023, after I posted a critique of #Passport Bros and refused an invitation to debate him on his platform, because why in the world would I do that? My digital terrorist uploaded more than 40 videos in which he lied about my public work and political ideology, my romantic life, my sex life.
Well, I got you beat by a lot. I got like 80 videos. Damn. If one person could get paid for diss videos, damn, that would be some good money. You know what I mean? Dang, somebody just uploaded this video. Okay, you get $1,000. I'd be like, damn. Okay. But yeah, 40 is obsessive. 20 was obsessive. Okay. She got 40, and there's more to come. I guarantee you. There's more out there. She just probably, either the channels were too small to come up on the radar for her, or they're in the works right now. Yep. That's the first thing you notice is when a person has a mental issue, is when they get obsessed. Obsession is a very serious mental issue. And it's definitely, if somebody's uploading 40 plus videos of you, especially if they're doing it on multiple channels, that person is certifiably dangerous and crazy. There is just no reason for anybody to do that, except if they are put into the mental issues of being maybe possibly a sociopath, a psychopath, or at the very, very, very least, a narcissist. But that's a little bit too soft. Let me keep it going. Here we go.
Life, my career and work history, and my biography. Last video, I said it was around 30 videos, 30 plus videos. But since then, I have updated the tally to more than 40, thanks to y'all.
Exactly. Keep the tally going. Let me tell you, Kim, it's going to keep going up. It's going to keep going up because they don't. The problem is this, what's going on right there, okay, is the same reason why those men are single. There is something wrong with them. There is some damage going on and they want to spread it around.
I am so grateful that y'all have done the work that I just couldn't bring myself to do. You guys have sent me so many additional clips, so many more videos, and you are ultimately helping to build a case. And as I will say repeatedly, this video is going to be about how women facilitate the violence of the manosphere. But my central aim.
Yeah, she's talking about the mams. Just in case you don't know what a mams is, I got Mammosphere from 1 to 20. If anybody remembers my box set of the Mammosphere series, you know, feel free to dive in deep and find out what it's all about. Here we go.
My primary focus is always going to be removing the men who participate in this kind of violence from this platform.
Bars.
Okay. So thank y'all.
M. Mills in the house.
Here is a particularly disgusting video that he created in March 2023. An event for Black women.
Let me pause it right here. Why Seeker Knowledge breaks it down like this. Yes, they are in deep denial and their pride won't let them concede and us all heal. And concede and us all heal. We are doomed if we counting on them. We are doomed if we are counting on them. Yeah, you cannot, there's nothing, I'm telling you, don't get me wrong. There are some cool brothers out there that care about Black women. In fact, one is her boyfriend. And he's been very supportive. And they ended up attacking him too, just like locusts. Let me keep it going. Here we go.
Either in Dallas or elsewhere, once a month. So next month's event is going to be Paint and Sip.
That's it. That's it right there. Are you fucking kidding me? Kimberly Nicole Foster is going to sponsor.
Okay, here goes. The low life is about to get down. This is Obi. I'm going to call him Obi. I'm not going to call him. I'm going to follow suit with with Kim and not call him by his full name because he doesn't deserve that. That the name that he puts that he's under is too positive a name. It's a positive, powerful name, and it doesn't fit him. So I'm just going to call him Obi.
Fucking paint event.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Let's go to the tape.
Passport Bros is not so much an identity, a collective of people who have decided that they are going to flee the United States and find wives. It's more an ideology. And that's where it becomes concerning because the men are flocking.
And Mills, you nailed it. He's the funny thing is this. After doing all of this, he truly, really thinks that women are just going to get worn down and start respecting him and his clowns. That's how far in denial they are.
To this ideology, and the connection is not a genuine desire for love and companionship. The connection is hate, disdain, distaste, malice toward American Black women. And I was just reading about how effectively the manosphere generally and passport bros in particular are able to utilize memes. You know, like they speak to each other in memes, written memes and visual memes. And memes are so easily the distribution, I was gonna say distributable, that's not a term. The distribution of memes is so easy that we see them over and over and over again. And people are internalizing these ideas.
But these men want respect. I guarantee you, every man in that manosphere, they want respect. But they support or contract out this type of disrespect. It's amazing. And it's weird. The most delusional, most rude, most vile men want the most respect. It's amazing to me why Seeker Knowledge drops another gem like this. Beautiful anomalies out there, bars. I thank God for the good ones. Same odds of getting struck by lightning you experience a good black man. Yeah, unfortunately, it's the way it is now. All of these men in the manosphere could have been good men, but they went the opposite way. They could have built themselves up, but they want to break women down. That's what they want to do. They want to pull everybody into the gutter with them instead of bringing themselves out of the darkness.
Ideas, and not necessarily connecting these ideas to #passport bros, but connecting these ideas explicitly to how loud, ratchet, ghetto, masculine Black women are. And that stuff extends beyond interpersonal relationships. That stuff is not about, oh, they don't want to marry me or date me. When we see the repetition, the spread, the reiteration time and time again of this stuff about Black women, my concern is not, oh, don't go. Please go, okay? Leave us out of it. My concern is...
Let me fast forward.
It's not simply a...
Is what her great contribution is to the community. God damn it, we got to give a
And his contribution, from what I've seen, is not that great either, from what he's telling. Her contribution is amazing. His contribution has to do with going to court, from what I saw, allegedly. Let me keep it going.
For this one, Andre Canto.
All right. So the reason why
By the way, I need to remind everybody, he did come to our channel and our panel a long time ago and got himself roasted the F out, trying to go on there, trying to dance for Pearly, got himself roasted basically. Never heard from him after that because, well, one, he got roasted. Two, he only harasses high earning people.
And playing that video is so that we can see with no ambiguity that the aims of this influencer are intentionally malicious.
Exactly. And you know something? I've seen worse. Unfortunately, I've seen worse.
Are vengeful and they are spiteful. This is not simply about a disagreement and
Act Natural Under Pressure says his voice doesn't have a lick of testosterone. Phoenix Soul breaks it down like this. What they don't realize is that it's judgment day for them. The divine feminine is rising and their time is short. Yeah, KS found out. He sure did. Kidney Hills sure found out. Here we go.
Political ideology. It's not simply a disagreement about policy or organizing or activism strategies. This is deeply personal. And I have no idea why. Before that happened and before he DM'd me,
It's stalkers are weird. They're just weird like that, allegedly. It's just you can't quantify or logically explain them. They're just mentally broken people that don't care about other people. There's no empathy. So, and if they feel like they can get something from you directly or indirectly, they're all in.
never heard of this person, but clearly he had heard of me. So, in addition to those 40 plus videos and counting, thank y'all so much for your help. He wrote more than a dozen blog posts filled with disinformation about me on his Manosphere website.
Oh, yeah, disinformation. I feel you on that one.
And I haven't done the work of going through every single social media post, but it's dozens for sure. But ultimately, as I mentioned earlier, the craziest, most hurtful part of this entire ordeal was how, after my digital terrorist couldn't get my attention, he sought out my romantic partner, who is not a content creator. And
So he was looking to, yeah. So basically, that's what they do. Is when they don't, when you gray wall them, when you gray wall a sociopath or a narcissist or something like that, usually they will seek out other victims that will be around you, or they will triangulate you, or they will start insulting others that you care about. They're sick people. They're disgusting. Let's keep it going.
First he DM'd.
Let me stop it right here. Corey Coburn says this: shucking and jiving, slipping and sliding, keep it moving, clowns. Performing until someone watches their show. Bars.
My partner in September. Actually, I remember seeing the DMs when we were in Cabo celebrating his 40th
smear campaigns. Yep, that too.
birthday. And he, in the DMs on both Instagram and Facebook, seemed to want to confront my partner because he had been defending me on those platforms and explicitly rejecting the aims of the manosphere. After my partner didn't respond to those provocations, because why would he? On what planet would a man ever want to be cordial, jovial, jocular, friendly with somebody who at that point had spent 8 months talking all kinds of heinous shit?
Exactly that. But see, since those men that attacked her were heinous themselves, they don't feel like they're doing anything wrong. They really don't. They don't think they don't have any empathy. You need empathy and a soul to think that you said, damn, I shouldn't have done that. I was wrong. They don't have it.
Simply doesn't make any kind of sense. So when my boyfriend did not respond to those provocations, my digital terrorist embarked on a several months long campaign of lying about him, cyberstalking him, posting weird stuff.
Weird. I mean, we're talking weird. These people get really weird and disgusting. Scummy, low value. Even if they were millionaires, their soul is in the gutter. That's what's going down. And I totally understand where she's coming from.
Let's look at first some of the messages. So obviously, this is just a couple of the messages. The first one is the original DM on Instagram from September. You can see the tone, right? It's damn near friendly, right? Like seemingly wanting to extend an olive branch after he had made at that point 6 or 7 videos titled things like Kimberly Nicole Foster is ugly. Kimberly Nicole Foster is ruining Black women.
It's funny coming from, you saw how dude looked. And that's the funny thing, is it seems like it's always the ugliest dudes in the world calling other women ugly. I don't know what it is, but in the YouTube streets that I've been around, it's the most repulsive looking men that are calling other women ugly. It's just some kind of a freak of nature thought. It shows you that they have no logic whatsoever. When Kevin Samuel said men are logical and women are emotional, that shit was so untrue. It's amazing. It's amazing. So show me a guy insulting a woman, and I'll show you a guy who's ugly AF. I'm telling you.
Men, Kimberly Nicole Foster is Delulu, right? But there he is. I guess trying to be friends. That's weird. What we also see in the next image, the image with the white background,
A mix of bipolar, sociopathic, all together in one.
is something that he posted
Exactly,
today.
Quita.
Now, what
Projecting, exactly.
I find to be really interesting about this is once my digital terrorist realized that my partner was not going to have any kind of friendly, civil discussion with him,
Susie Bear.
he turned into a typical abusive man.
He turned into the real him. OB turned into the real who he was for real. The evil side. See, they all have a nice side. These creeps all have a nice side. Okay? And that's the thing. This is why, ladies, you got to take your time. If you date somebody, take your time to really get to know them, because the ugly will come out sooner or later. And you definitely don't want to be too far in, okay, when that ugly comes out. It is a painful sight to see. Phoenix Soul breaks it down like this. I saw a thumbnail of a manosphere creator stating Black women are still trying to destroy our image. Bruh, that's all you. Bars. Exactly. It's giving it's giving malignant narcissists too. Yep. DJ said other women twice. Yeah. Yes, they're sure to act like it. Yep. Let's keep it going. Here we go.
He turned into a street harasser. He went straight to fuck you. You ain't shit anyway. You're stupid. You could never sit with us.
I heard that shit too. I heard I literally heard phrases like that, literally. So now I know that those were canned responses coming from a narcissistic or sociopathic mind.
And of course, that's so weird, so bizarre. But just my analytical brain is really compelled by this because I have seen men do this to women a lot. Approach them initially because they want something from them.
Right.
And as soon as they experience rejection turn, I've never seen a man do that to another man.
Go reflection. Well, oh, Kim, I got a story for you. Let's keep it going. Gold reflection in the house.
So, in addition to things like that, we of course get stuff like this. Okay.
Let me pause that right there. Gold reflection breaks it down like this. They're remedial. Life would flow a little smoother if they dropped their ego and worked on their discipline and self-awareness. Bars. Bars. Freaking bars. Remedial, yes, absolutely.
That's the first image is a screenshot of my boyfriend saying the manosphere people are sick, sad weirdos. And the second is a picture that my digital terrorist appended to the tweet of
So it shows you right there that they want to be seen as respectable. Otherwise, why would they even respond to this if they love being sick and sad? So you see that they're trying to give you the illusion of respectability. But in reality, they're batshit crazy. I'm serious.
the Black Manosphere Conference or something like that. All right. Very normal, very, very sane, very normal, very well adjusted, this stuff. We also got this. Very normal. Yeah. Totally
This
not.
is creepy. So Obi put this picture out, I guess to show that he was at the level of her boyfriend, which he is not. Okay. Her boyfriend, money's not everything, but her boyfriend has money and he does not. I think I made that clear on a prior video. Apparently he doesn't have, I'm not going to say he doesn't have money, but let's just say apparently coming out of his own mouth a few months ago, he didn't have nothing. A YouTube associate of his then released a video saying that he didn't have nothing. So nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You got to have something. Okay, you see where I'm going? Here we go.
Crazy, not concerning, not disturbing at all. That. Yeah. I want to say as a quick side note, I can't tell you how great it's been to be with somebody who sees how disgusting these men are and calls it out at every given opportunity. I remember our first conversations, and I was drawn to him because we had so many interests that aligned. But the real turning point of this is my man was when I realized how politically aligned we are. When I realized that this man was deeply invested in caring for women and Black women in particular, and had read the books and had embraced them, internalized them, taken them to heart, was schooling me on these things.
Let me pause it right there. Then I got, where is it? Where is it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Check this out.
Kimberly Nicole Foster, we all know she's been a very successful in her own right. I think it has her own.
Get ready. Get ready for Mammy's Field 21.
Separate publication for Harriet. She's an open Black feminist. And again,
And you're looking at right now the lovely Chez Charde. I give credit where credit due. She is a lovely looking person. I'm not sure about the soul, in my opinion, but let's find out. Maybe we just have a difference of opinion. But the problem I have at first is this. First of all, this was 8 months ago. So this was right in the middle of when dude was being disgusting to her. So instead of, remember now, instead of saying, you know, something, OB, you know, you're kind of being disgusting. We have a difference of opinion between, you know, Kim and us. We have a difference of opinion, but we should still say, stay civil, right? Chez could have said that and really probably have looked really cool. She didn't do that. She started dogpiling on Kim. Listen.
For honesty, she's about to tell us why her, as a Black educated woman, how she would not consider dating a blue-collar Black man. And of course, we know it's a Black man because she's openly said that her preference is Black men.
Now remember now, she has no problem. Legs for life in the house. Legs for life. Act natural under pressure. Mystic Moon. Feisty Black man. Oh shit. Oh, so Feisty Black Magic is up in the house, y'all. Best damn page on YouTube. If you haven't been there, you need to go there. You need to go there. Okay? Anyway, as I was saying, Mystic Moon, Quita Ward, Enlightened Femme, Susie Bear. We're going to keep this going. Here we go.
and then we'll break it down.
Somebody asked me, who would you date? Would you date blue collar? And I said, I would date somebody who makes less money than me, but I probably would not date somebody who is blue collar.
Again, y'all heard.
So this is the problem I have with Chez Charde. She obviously doesn't have a problem with disgusting men as long as they are speaking her language, which is Mammanese. Welcome, Tevin. Here we go.
Heard that she dates somebody who made less money than her, but she would not date blue collar. Nope, can't do it, not doing it.
And they said, well, why? Why not? This is a real issue that I've never seen people really reckon with.
And see, the thing is this, what she may or may not have noticed, Chez Charde, is that she was literally triangulating with OB. Okay? Whether she wanted to do that or not, that's what she ended up doing. At a time that she knows, and see, these content creators know what the other one's doing because that's where they get their information from. You know, shoot. So she knows he's dumping some crap on Kim. Instead of saying, you know, you shouldn't do that. Let's keep it professional. What does she do? She jumps on. She jumps on. Here we go.
So somebody weeks ago asked me, okay, who would you date? This person, would you date blue collar? Would you not? And I said, I would date somebody who makes less money than me, but I probably would not date somebody who is blue collar. I do date men who have college degrees. And they said, well, why? Why not? And this is my real response. And this is a real issue that I've never seen people really reckon with. Because
so again, shout out to her for being honest.
Yeah, shout out to her for being logical. If Chez did the work, she'd realize that after looking at the stats in the United States, when people were not equally yoked, their failure for marriage increased. She is in here right now trying to, I mean, obviously if a man's making more than a woman, there's no problem, right? Okay, but that's not the kind of men that come to Chez Charde's channel. They're the ones who don't make enough. So that's why she's on here getting her mams on, telling the story. It's crazy to me. It's like, to me, there's nothing there. Even if I was thinking like a manosphere dude, I'd be like, well, there's nothing there. I mean, she wants a guy who wants she wants a successful guy. That's up to her. Good luck. But she can't even do that. She has to dogpile. Here we go.
Let me just say that. Shout out to her for being completely and totally honest, because y'all heard the first part of the show, right? Where a lot of women were pretending that this doesn't happen. Right? They're pretending like there aren't women out there who specifically are like, I'm not dating blue collar men. I'm not overlooking. Like, they're pretending that this is just some crazy thing that I made up. So shout out to her, for Kimberly Nicole Foster, for being honest about why she's not dating blue collar men. We're going to now see.
She has a right. She's college educated. And believe it or not, this is the funny thing, is that I'm sure if the guy turned out to be super wonderful and everything and was amazing, most women are logical enough that they're going, oh, hey, he's blue collar, but he works hard and I'm good. But that rarely happens. It's like we're talking about, 100,000 to 1 or something like that. It really happens. And the perfect example is, look at all those stars. Let's look at the stars. Kiki did the bus driver / blue collar thing. That didn't work out for her. Okay. Look at and what's his name? The basketball player that's narcissistic. He got mad at his wife. Tanea, that's it. Tanea's husband got mad at her because she was more famous than him. Though he might made more money, but he was so narcissistic, he just couldn't handle it. So you can't. The problem I'm having with the chocolate red pill is they're trying to make it seem like it's some sort of crime for a woman to strive for a person she's equally yoked with. And it shows you just it exposes the audience they have, because you could only think or be mad at this if you have an audience of blue collar workers at best. Okay. Because if everybody was making money, they'd be go like, hey, yeah, she looking for me. She looking for me. They'd be like popping their collars and stuff in their suits because Kim would be attracted to them because they're educated too. But that's obviously not Chez Charde's crowd, because if it was, this video would have flopped. It would have been like, what are you talking about? Of course she should have a good man. Of course she should, man. I just went to college for 8 years too. She went to college for 8 years too. Of course and that's the funny thing, is that's how you find out. Successful college educated black men are not going to be on Chez Charde's channel in bulk. If they do, they got a mental issue, because it makes no sense to be here, because everything that she looks down on, they don't see a problem with. They don't see a problem with it. Mystic Moon breaks it down like this. This woman doesn't believe what she's saying. She can barely get her words out. She always sounds forced, so forced. She seems checked out. I wonder what she believes in real life. It could be, I think she's married, so maybe her husband's forcing her to do this, for all we know. Then JG Music breaks it down like this. Yeah, Mamonese breaks it down. She always has a personal issue with other black women that's not dating from the recycle bin, like she seems to want to do. Oh man, yeah, that's the basketball player's name, Iman. Yeah, so Schumpfert or something, has some kind of German weird name or something like that. But yeah, let me keep it going.
Why? Let's get into it.
Because I am a black woman who has access to so many upper middle class, above average earning black women. And I see how they've navigated their romantic lives. And this is different generations, different nationalities, different ethnicities, all black women. And so many of them have, particularly older women, had no, college degree requirement, honestly, because if you're a certain age, you can't really have a college degree requirement, and the pool just is not there. Had no income requirement, and partnered these men, married these men, and the results were disastrous.
Exactly. You want to know a good proponent of this, a good example? Remember Ayanna Van Zant? Intelligent beyond, and very intelligent, very smart, dated bandits. It ended poorly. Yes, Kim is telling the truth. It ended poorly. Now let's see what this person here, Chez Charde, is going to say. Here we go. She's going to say something.
The class difference, the resentment that comes from that is absolutely disastrous.
It is. And see, this is a funny thing. Chez. Why are you going to try to convince black women, because I assume that's what you're trying to do, or to exercise a practice that not any other race does? There's not any other race of women that date down. Not one. Not in bulk. Not one. Not one. Not one. This is why ma'ams are dangerous. Ma'ams are dangerous.
Something that Kevin Samuels nor the rest of these men are really contending with is what happens when there is a large class difference, not just financial, like socioeconomic difference, but
Right.
class difference, meaning what do you do for fun?
Okay, so you notice how she mentioned resentment. Notice how she mentioned the amount of resentment that comes from that. Who do you think in that dynamic is going to be more resentful?
The man. And I'm shocked and surprised she doesn't know that. It's Chez, you can look it up. You can look that kind of data up, but you failed to do that. Instead, you went the propaganda route. You went the propaganda route. It's simple as that. You went the propaganda route. Anybody can look. The man is more resentful, even if the woman brings in more money and still loves him and still cares for him. The problem is this. Number one, there's a reason why he doesn't bring in as much money. Number two, okay, it's you've heard it. You've heard even your deadbeat hero, Kevin Samuels, say it. The man is supposed to be the lead with the wallet. Remember that one? See, that's the funny thing. See, that's why I always catch you all. I catch you red pillars for this. I catch you red pillars all the time. You always, you believe you're king at that moment. But then when something else comes up, you literally contradict what he said, including him. So basically right now, if everybody went by Kevin Samuels' theory, the man is supposed to lead with his wallet. He can only lead with his wallet if he makes more money than the woman. I can't get it. I can't get this. I can't.
You are say you are a upper middle class Black woman. You're going to these different corporate parties.
Right.
You're hobnobbing with other women and going and having wine tasting, having that kind of experience. The mixers, the lounge, that's your experience, right? You're essentially aspiring for this more nice, luxurious, hypergamous, soft lifestyle. That is your experience.
No, not necessarily, no. Now she put words in the lady's mouth. That's not called soft life. Soft life is when your husband pays for everything. Soft life doesn't include a woman putting in 10 to 12 hours a day to make that extra money, to compete with others that Black men are unwilling to compete with. Okay? There ain't nothing soft about that life. I've seen it. You're painting the wrong picture.
And you're with a man who's a blue collar worker.
You can tell she's making it up as she goes.
He may be making really, really good money, but the nature of being a blue collar, you may be a little more
really, really good money, because if she already said that, she wants somebody on intellectually on her level. See, this is the funny part right here. See how Chez went straight for the money already, but Kim said she was talking about emotional things. Okay, emotional, what should I say? Being equally yoked emotionally and intellectually with somebody. Okay? And look, it's so far. This is the funny thing about the chocolate red pill. It is so far out of their realm to think that by golly gee williger, somebody's going to pick somebody out of pure personality, not money. And usually when you pick somebody out of pure personality, they're probably into things that you like as well, because that's just how it clicks. That's how it clicks. But see, her audience is blue collar. So what she's trying to do is give her underachieving audience, okay, hope. Instead of telling these guys, look, get on the grind, see what you find. Get on the grind, see what you find. Put a couple more hours here, a couple more hours there. If you ain't got the knowledge, get the knowledge. You're supposed to be men. Men are supposed to be able to do amazing things. So it ain't nothing to it to get to it. But no, you know what she does? She's breaking these men more and threatening women more by sending these broken men out after these women. Same broken man that just like old Obi. Okay? Queen of Word. Why she probably just got on a low cut dress, you know. But yeah. M. Mills breaks it down like this. If Kim got with a low-level man and things turned bad, these sorry men would say she should have picked better. Bars. And so would Chez Charde. She would say the same thing. Oh, you should have chose better. So which one is it? Which one is it, chocolate red pill? Choose better or choose better? And it ain't you. Which one is it? I mean, see, that's what it is. They always have these contradictory taglines for every situation. For every situation. Mystic Moon says this, G Music 3K. She is so draining. Honestly, she doesn't seem to have a personality at all. She is just there saying words. At least the others sound like they believe the lies. She is just saying the words. It's like, yeah, she's getting paid. And so she's going to say whatever she needs to say. Here we go.
Rough and gruff. You're not necessarily thinking about all the time the soft life. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, you're making good money, you're stable, but you're running in different social circles.
Right. So are you asking her to give up her existing ecosystem on a guy that's probably not going to be around long for one reason or the other? These dudes are also starting to cheat. I mean, remember now, these blue collar workers that are on her channel are the same ones that was on Kevin Samuels' channels. And Kevin Samuels himself was the one who was preaching cheating. So by pure evidence, okay, and logic, these are not going to be good men for women. Everybody in there. The bulk, let's put it that way. Because, I mean, I'm okay, guy. I mean, I don't know. If you listen to Chez Charde, you're probably not that okay. I'm not saying that she's evil or whatever. It's just what she's saying does not bode well for men that are logical. It doesn't make sense to them. A man that is logical and that is productive, he's not thinking about going to some Chez Charde channel. He's just not. It doesn't make sense to him. He's like, wait a minute. My friends of other races at work, you know, they have no problem with, you know, knowing that they need to be equally yoked. They have no problem with that. Their wives are cool, you know. There's no problem. Why should I listen to you? And that's basically what's going on here. That's what's going on. Here we go.
Who in that dynamic do you think is actually going to be more resentful? The one who was aspiring to a certain class, to a certain hypergamous elite setup? Elite.
It's not elite. It's just being at that level. Okay. I'm not going to run around here and try to date a rocket scientist. I'm just not. I'm a very smart guy, but I'm not going to go around and try to find myself. Oh yeah, why didn't that rocket scientist, you know, who just built the latest, you know, rocket to go to the moon? Oh yeah, she gonna love me. No, I want to go fishing. I want a woman who wants to get her hands dirty and stuff. But I'm not going to get mad at the rocket scientists. See, why is that so hard for people to grasp? Every other race has no problem with that. Why do we have to be the ones that got to thread the needle or let the guy just pay the light bill? I mean, it's embarrassing to me. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to know that our reputation made by us is just paying the light bill. Because I want to be a man. That's not a man. A man leads by his wallet. You got to listen to your old man Kane Kevin. Because he doesn't preach this. What she's preaching, he doesn't preach. But she is preaching this now because she knows this works on her crowd. That's why.
Circle, or the one who was just happy making money, happy doing what he's doing.
That's fine. He can find a woman that's making around the same amount of money. And that's cool. That's what I want. Chez, what you just said is exactly what I want to do. I don't want to make a whole lot of money. I like to go on my fishing trips. I like to kind of kick it, in the sun. I like to go work out, but I'm not going to go if a woman who's like got a double, triple doctorate and shit, is driving an M-class BMW and shit. I have a BMW, but it's not that one. But I'm not going to be mad if she's like, hey, I need somebody a little bit more equally yoked. She's probably doing both of us a favor by saying that. But see, you want to sell this dementia to these men, and they're going to believe you, and they're going to go out there and hurt women. It's already happening. Don't believe me? Look at our Sunday shows. Half of those issues, half of those painful things that happen in those Sunday shows we show is because somebody was not equally yoked. That's what's going down. Let me drop the link. Let me drop this doggone link. Welcome, new diamond in the house. And that's what scares me about the mams. Because see, they're women and they're convincing men that women are wrong, right? And that the men have a right to put a brick in their face. That's basically what they're saying. Not as obvious as her pal Chantel, but close enough. She's empowering men to hurt women instead of empowering men to build themselves up to be better people, in my opinion. That's what's going down. Here we go.
Doesn't matter to him as long as he's able to pay bills. Who do you think in that setup is going to be more resentful? Without her
bill is he going to pay? See, that's where we go. See, a lot. If there's bills and then there's notes. Ladies and gentlemen, there are bills and then there are notes. An electric bill is one thing. A car note or a house note is a different thing. Notice how she just said bills, but didn't say notes. It's different.
Saying it, I think we can probably assume that it's going to be the women who are aspiring again for an elite kind of social status. They're the ones who are going to be resentful that the men.
You're wrong. They're resentful when the man gets resentful and starts putting hands and feet on them. Then they resent the hands and feet. That's how it works. That's what is going on. So, Chez, what you're saying is really not accurate, and it's really kind of, personally, I kind of take personal to it because it's kind of dangerous for women. Because see, the thing is this: yes, I'm a dude, but I have some loved ones that are women, and I want to protect them. and you're making that harder. So I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I am saying that you are putting people at danger and you shouldn't do that with this rhetoric. Yes, I mean, of course, soon, one woman out of 100 men, or, couples like that, or 1,000 couples like that, maybe they might be resentful. Okay. But for the most part, it's the men that are resentful. Look it up. Since I know that using stars is not a perfect thing, but since you're not going to dig in the deep numbers, look at all the stars that all the women that made more money, okay, that make more money than the man, look how they ended up. Look how they ended up. You see it. They ended up getting hands and feet. They ended up getting high-end, high-earning hands and feet put on them. Wait, let me clear that up. High-end women, high-earning women, high-quality women, some of them icons in their industry, by the way, still getting hands and feet put on them because you wanted them to give a blue-collar worker a chance. Way to go. Way to go. Literally getting thrown over sofas. Okay. They're leaving their own kids in an Uber while they take a limo to a game. Probably because he's going to hook up with somebody. You just don't get it. You don't. Love to have a discussion with you, but hey, I'm not going to say anything. You got 30,000 poor souls that need you. And the last thing they need is for me to open their eyes to reality, because that's not going to help you. So let's keep it going.
And that they're with do not reflect that social status that they are aspiring to maintain. It's not the men.
You don't aspire to maintain something. You maintain it. Aspiring is for you're trying to get something you don't have.
It is the women. And again, I'm not making this stuff up. What I just showed
you are. Actually, I have a big hunch that you are, but let's keep it going.
What I showed to you a few minutes previous to this, that data from the book, The Dating Divide, from the two sociologists showed that, yes.
Let's see here. Indeed, some educated Black women in our study, they were quick to ignore inquiries from Black men who did not have college degrees or were pursuing risky careers. Absolutely, yeah. Why would they? Such as musicians, small business owners, how small, how famous of a musician. It still doesn't matter. They want something in, just like every other woman of every other race, they want a man that is equally yoked with them. Yes, they would, even if the musician was making money, that's great. But unfortunately, musicians and small business owners, especially when they're in our community, don't make that much money. These women wanted racial and educated homogamy, but it seemed out of reach. Looking around their offices, other professional spaces, they see plainly that most of their colleagues were Caucasian, right? That alone was enough to drive them to online dating. It doesn't matter though. That's the point we're trying to make in here, is that maybe this fine. See, that's the point I'm trying to make. As a Black man, this is going to sound amazing and crazy to you. But I'd rather see all of you with an equally yoked Caucasian man than an unequally yoked African-American man with a bad temper. Okay, I rather that. So let's ignore race altogether. I'd rather you be with a loving man who's going to be supportive and caring and not concerned about your value, like Schumpfert, okay, or Darius, who are putting hands and feet on their women. I'd rather see those. I'd rather see Kiki. I'd rather see Tanea with good men of any other race if it was comparing to the trash they're with right now. I hope that cleared it up, because I needed to make sure that I took that home. I mean, it's that clean. But see, the thing is this. What mams do is and why mams are dangerous is this. They want to send unjust, dangerous men out to these women that are truly looking for love. And when a woman is truly looking for love, she will stand by her man and take punches. And that's the problem. And that's the problem. So she's sending women out to the slaughter. That bothers me. Phoenix Soul breaks it down like this. Tanya Sweat in the house. Let me start with Tanya right here. She sounds like a woman that failed at her goals while trying to set up the women that did make their goals. Bars. Exactly that. Phoenix Soul. The defined feminine got karma for these mammies too. For some, unfortunately, at hands of ex-wives, they're caping for. Exactly. I believe it or not, I met a young lady who did that before last year, and she got hands and feet put on her. She was I was going to have her on the show last year for a debate, or I was going to go to her show for a debate. She was just starting off too. And I was like, cool. And then I noticed she disappeared. I said, damn, she gone. And then she finally recently came back, and said that she went through it. And it was with from all I could take, because she didn't, clearly, say the whole story. It was through some red pill dude. It's through a red pill dude. And she was definitely on she herself would admit saying that she was on the Pick Me competitions committee. Let's put it that way. They changed her mind a little bit. I don't know if she changed her mind back or not, but the last time I spoke with her, which was about a month ago, that's where she was. The mindset changed. Yeah, so did the mind it at least change the last time I knew. And her mindset was, okay, I don't like getting hands and feet put on me or insults put on me either. And it's coming from this source. She was logical enough to know that was coming from a source, okay, that was from the red pill. So I commend her for knowing that much. Anyway, let me play a little more with this. Here we go.
As college-educated women they will absolutely filter out other men who are not college-educated.
Why? Look, that is not a problem. Okay? That's not a problem at all. Every other race of women do that. For other races of women to date down, which is what Chez is saying, okay, there has to be some extenuating circumstance. And over time, the reason why that happens is because in those other races, they have realized that relationships don't last, families don't last, unless the parents are equally yoked. Bars. Here we go.
Notice they did not say that for college-educated men. They said college-educated women will absolutely filter out men who do not have...
Of course, because men will, especially college-educated men, especially if they're in college. I mean, the thing is this, to see, she doesn't realize she's messed up. And I'll tell you why. It's normal that a man who's college educated may or may not choose a college educated woman. But in most cases, what she doesn't know is that they do in other cultures. College educated men, okay? Okay, Mystic Moon, I'll let it go. I'll let it go. Let me back it up and let go for a minute. But you see what I'm saying? And the thing is this, Chez, I can tell she's must not have grown up around other cultures of people. They will, the men will date down, the women won't. It's that simple.
Notice they did not say that for college-educated men. They said college-educated women will absolutely filter out men who do not have college degrees from their dating pool. Women do this. So again, who of that setup, if it is a woman with a college degree who's in a upper middle class setup, and she's dating somebody who maybe makes as much money, but is in a different social, is maybe considered blue collar, and doesn't have the same class aspirations, who do you think of the two is going to be more resentful? Anyways, let's continue with this one.
Brina West in the house. Brina West.
Okay.
Who do you hang out with? What books do you read? What newspaper? Like, the idea that that is just going to be so easy for both parties to surmount is crazy. I have never seen that happen. What I have seen happen is women saying, oh, that does not matter. We can be partnered. And the men realizing, oh, I cannot fucking handle this.
So wait, what? I was following her until it became the men's fault. I'm like, what?
That was the weirdest laugh I've ever heard.
Now listen. Now there are scenarios out there where men are uncomfortable if the woman makes more money.
It's most men, especially in our community. She's trying to make it sound like it's like a rare thing. No, it's most men in our community, unless they're Pookie who wants to be taken care of. And then they usually end up cheating. She's kind of twisting this in the wrong narrative. I mean, not narrative, but output. There's a reason why other cultures don't do what she's trying to make our culture do. It didn't work. Other cultures like, well, it just didn't work. There's plenty of blue collar women out there. Why is she doing this? See, the only reason why she's doing this is she's trying to put Kim down. Because there are plenty of blue collar women out there for plenty of blue collar men. So why is she going out of her way like Ayanna got hands and feet put on her Van Zant did with the lawyer who was a millionaire? It's like I mean, here's a perfect example. Shirley Strawberry and Ernesto. That is the perfect example I have for you. Let me see if I can bring up a quick thing of Shirley and Ernesto. Because Shirley, and we will be dipping into that, but let me see if I can find it. Shirley and Ernesto. What do we do with that? Here we go. Here we go. I'm not going to play them or anything because, Okay. Hold on one second. Pause. Boom. That's who Chez Charde wants wealthy Black women to get with. I'm telling you, that's what she's saying. I mean, she doesn't think she's saying it, but that's what she's saying. Phone calls from prison.
Right. Time from yesterday, seeing that clown ride past me and while I'm in the meat wagon, and I see the motherfucker riding past me. All those was signs to me. Okay. Yeah. So all that what he talking about, rich this info, them folk was poor when I met him. They was in debt with the government.
That's what Chez Charde is fighting for. Literally a guy who's in prison right now for assault, larceny, a bunch of whole different things. That's who she's fighting for. She is fighting for that man right there. Chez Charde, this gorgeous lady right here, is fighting for this guy right here, who's still in prison. I'm telling you, you can't make this shit up. As her old papa would say, you can't make this shit up. He got priors, you know. He got, you know, he got restraining orders. He got it all. Well, maybe they dropped him because, you know, he's in prison, I guess. Well, who knows? Maybe they kept it on. Let me see if I can get a little piece here. I'm going to give you a little taste, but we got a whole show for that.
Because his son is gay. He calls him a f***it all the time. That makes me sick. That's all he do is call him a f***. And he's same age as you. That's
you know, they're talking to each other. You want to know why they're on phones? Because he's in prison. He's in prison. This is what the gorgeous Chez Charde wants you women to date. Her right there, okay, wants you in this situation here. I don't know if he can pay the light bill from the, you know, from prison, but, you know, hey, for better and for worse, right? For better and for worse. That's what's going down. Let's listen to a little bit more. This is Sonya over here. This is Sonya.
That is that terminology. That's what it was back then in the 80s. That's what they were. Y'all went and got politically correct because now the masses is filled with this. So now don't call them that anymore. Just call them gay or trans or whatever the fuck they are. Who gives a shit?
Damn.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
He's talking to a guy who's in prison for SA and whatever else, as if he's better than people that are out. She really thinks he's going to get out too. He ain't getting out. There's a reason why he's still in there now. Look at that. Phone calls from prison.
I'm trying to get that. But before I sign that paper, I need you to read what I sent.
This is him pimping her. He's pimping this young lady right here. Well, she's not that young. She's almost my age. But, you know, he pimping Sonya. That's what I know.
I gave him to read that girl.
Paper that he wants you to sign to relieve him of his lawful duties.
No, the paper. No, the paper that
there's a jail fight going on.
That I sent to Dion is what I wrote him and told him what I wanted him to do. That I had the girl to read.
Yeah. That's what Chez Charde. Look, what is she doing
to him? You understand? The paper that I sent in, yes, his worker, his assistant. So assistant.
She has no clue what he's talking about. Let's get back to the show. Here we go. So anyway, I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. That's who Chez Charde is fighting for. I guarantee you, at least 40% of the men on her channel, they know where that's at. In my opinion. Let me keep it going.
That does not exist. But in my experience, right, what I've observed, and even what I've taught, no, because I know couples where the woman makes more money. I know that to this day, and they're happily married.
Okay, because she knows a couple couples that has worked out, and though she doesn't live with them or really know them, I can tell she doesn't know them well, in my opinion. She thinks that her little experience in that is enough to make it a fact. Welcome, Tomas. That's weird.
A primary issue when there is a big difference in either money being made, class, whatever, a big issue can become if there is a sense of disrespect that comes from it. Take it for an example, the Ebony K. Williams. We just had that conversation earlier, right? We were looking at her stuff.
You don't want to start with that, because on the other side, like I said before, okay, was Ayanna Van Zant, and she got hands and feet put on each dude she was with, and each dude made less money than her. So for the few couple of people that you know that worked out for, Ayanna Van Zant, she covers that double time.
And she was talking to blue collar men. She was talking down to them. She was very condescending.
No, she wasn't. She went on the show. You can't be condescending to somebody unless they're in front of you, really. See, Chez Charde, you gotta raise up your game. This old man over here has got you. This old man over here. Let me play this short right here. This one is brought to you by Feisty Black Magic. Doggone it, you got to go over there, because I'm telling you, you're missing a lot if you're not. Here we go. Well, let me pause it. I got to get the volume up. Okay, here we go. I'll tell you why I'm playing this clip in a minute.
Cover up for when you cheat with other women. You said no. The lie detector test determined that was a lie.
So basically, this dude's sister, which is right here, helps this dude right here, this bandit right here, cheat on his girlfriend. That's called having a built-in mams. Let me keep it going.
A lot of women, especially black women, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I will. In our society right now, black women are making a lot more money for the most part than black men.
Okay,
right?
so black women are making a lot more money. Okay, let's listen again.
For the most part than black men, right? There are a lot of black women are making a lot more money for the most part than black men. Black women are making a lot more money for the most part than black men, right?
Right. Okay. So black women are making more money for the most part than black men. Okay. So we got that down. So if that's the case, right, what's the problem? If black women are making more money than most black men, right? From Tyler Perry's point of view, whether it is right or wrong, we won't even go into it. We'll just take him on his word, right? Then what's the problem? What is the problem? The problem is that black men are not making as much as black women, according to Tyler Perry. And if that's the case, who needs to step up? What, you want black women to make less? You want them to, instead of going in for work for 8 hours, go in for 4 hours? See, this is the funny part. I love this. After the fact, after the hype is gone, conversations. Because then, you can pick up on things that were missed. And one of the things that were missed was this. Black men in the manosphere were championing Tyler Perry for saying this. But what I've been argued many times on this channel is that they'll say that, oh no, black men make more than black women, black men make more than black women. If that's the case, then if black men make more than black women, I got a checkmate here. That's what I'm getting to. If black men, according to the manosphere, makes more money than black women, then why do black women have to settle? Gotcha. Got you real good. Got you real good. So do you want to believe me or do you want to believe Tyler? Fellas, I don't care. Take your pick. It's checkmate either way. I got you either way.
Black men are the hardest group of men to date. And if you don't believe me, you can look at the divorce rates. Black men that marry Black women get a divorce rate that's at 100% higher than the average. Black men that marry white women are at a 200% divorce rate increase. Black women that date non-Black men are anywhere from 20 to 44% less in divorce rate. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because most Black women are dating and marrying Black men. And there are certain challenges involved with that I think are important. So I wanted to share those with you so you understood. Am I saying that I don't want you to be with a Black man? Not at all.
By the way, this is brought to you by Feisty Black Magic.
2/3 of my clients actually end up with Black men, but I want to make sure that you're vetting them very well so that you get healthy, healed Black men. Okay? Okay, so what am I talking about? First, let's talk about mom. Girl, in the 90s, 75% of the households, Black households, were single mother households. So Black men generally have two relationships with their mother. Either they were enmeshed, so entitled, and they think that they're the prize, and they are looking for women to be mothers, or their mother was very highly critical, judgmental. So a lot of Black men are actually running away from Black women because they're running away from their mothers. So a question that you want to ask if you're dating a Black guy is ask him about his relationship with his mother. Yeah? Okay, number 2, money. Unfortunately, because Black men are less educated and some, systematic prejudices, racism, discrimination, Black men are not making as much money as probably they need to be. But also, they're making less money than Black women. So, and this is the only kind of racial group where this happens. And so it is very hard to find a Black man that is making more than you. And if that is the case, oftentimes, Black men will feel emasculated and often try to humble you and control you.
Exactly. And Chez Charde didn't bring that up. That for bringing home the bacon is one of the most manly things ever. Okay. And there's nothing a woman can do who makes more than her man, okay, to change the way he feels about that. Unless he's a freeloader, which either way, it's a bad thing.
Because they don't feel like they're in financial control. So that makes it a little bit challenging when you're dealing with Black men. You want to ask him what he does, right? You want to ask him, and then you want to glass door that mofo, girl. You also want to ask him how many people he manages, right? Because if he can't manage people professionally, he probably can't manage people personally. Thirdly, you want to ask about the men in his life, his mentors. A lot of Black men actually don't have many mentors. So it's really weird to say, and it feels very archaic, but it's very true. And it is this. A man is looking for an alpha man to kind of check him. That is kind of the orders of operation, PEMDAS, if you will, in terms of how to kind of raise a man. And so if he doesn't have mentors, a father, other elders to kind of keep him in check, he's going to be out here kind of roaming the streets like many of them are. So you want to.
All right. We're going to keep it rolling. Let's see, where was I? Oh, let's see what how Kanye West treats how he treats his woman. He made her put a shirt on her face.
I don't know. I think they're looking at life.
Yeah, that's what you. What a prize. What a prize. Then he does this. Okay, let me fast forward.
She's TMZ. She's TMZ. Why do you feel like it's okay? I'm a human being. All of this TMZ, this 30 miles on y'all set celebrities up. All this food.
Kanye.
I don't care what y'all got to do. What y'all
Good
got to say? Don't come at me with that. Would you think that you a white woman, you could walk up on me like that and ask me some dumb ass? Asking me, are my white talking about this? She got free will? Are you crazy? You ain't saying
Well, you did say this. You did say this. See, you had no problem. I mean, what's the problem? You want to be all Martin Luther King, but then you want to wear shirts like this, man. So what's up with that? I just wanted to roast him for a minute. I just wanted to roast him. You know, I hope he's on his meds now. If he needs to take them, allegedly. Check this out.
Kanye West and wife Bianca Censori West continue to shock the internet with their looks, including so many Italian onlookers. Bianca was seen in her sheer tight.
You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. I don't know about you, but I don't think she's very happy. That's my hunch. That's crazy. That is crazy. So let's go into, where is that? Okay, I did Proud Pick Me's. Where's the other one? Perfect.
There are more single men without kids than there are single women without kids.
Welcome D9 in the house. Quita Ward, Tomas, M. Mills, Quita Ward, New Diamond. Here we go.
The narrative online would make it seem like it's men out here that got kids, and it's hard to find a man who don't have baby moms. No, it's actually more in reverse. I always say the loneliest person is a single man.
In what universe?
In general, there are much more lonely men, and the loneliest person is a single man, not a single woman. Because again, if that single woman tomorrow decides,
so that's the problem right there. That's the problem. Is that there are more lonely single men in the world. You know what the funny thing about being lonely or not lonely? It really is a mindset. It really is. You can live alone in peace and be cool with it. Or you can be around in a packed crowd and still feel lonely and longing for love. That's the difference. Now we're going to break into part 2.
I think a lot of us know people who are like, oh, I don't hate everything Kevin Samuels, right? But like, are we really sitting down with them to be like, what the fuck is going on with you right now? Okay. And so, that's the good thing about this job. Let's get to it.
I'm going to drop the link just in case.
Okay, if you could go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Tony Breckenridge of Los Angeles, California. I'm 35 years old, and I first came across Kevin Samuels on Instagram. I believe the first video that I saw of his where he was speaking about something called sign language, different tactics that women use to win arguments. That was the first introduction that I had to Kevin Samuels.
And when was that?
I feel like it was definitely, I want to say the first summer of the pandemic. So like July 2020.
Okay, so you're a little early. Because most people came to him on the Average at Best video, and that was around December. That was like fall, winter 2020.
Yeah, I was a little bit early. I guess it just has something to do with the algorithm of the people that I follow. It's just so happened I got on him very early.
Okay, so people like me think Kevin Samuels is a scourge and has had a net negative effect on Black people and Black love. What are we?
Yep. Me too.
Getting wrong.
I feel like it's not necessarily a matter of right and wrong. It's just a matter of perspective. I have had situations where if I tell people that I do appreciate any part of anything that Kevin Samuel says, I am asked if I hate women. And that's not necessarily true. I do understand how he's incendiary, but there is a perspective that can be skipped over if you don't necessarily have that.
Okay, so he knows that Kevin Samuel is foul-mouthed and rude and disgusting, but he's going to look past that. That's basically what he's saying in a very articulate way. I will give him that much.
Orientation. One of my, I don't want to say I have a critique of women, but I feel like society right now has this particular notion where women are infallible. And that is
No, that's not even true at all. What he just said there was just basically not true.
Thing that in my own personal history, with that orientation and thinking that women can do no wrong, I then take every
no, he's not fit at all.
mistake, every interaction with women, it's always my fault. And having
right here, because Quita brought up a very good point. His problem is obvious right here. Even if a woman look beyond looks, the thing is that a woman wants her man to be around for a long time. Okay, he's not a candidate for that. He's not a candidate for that. He is younger than me, but if he's still that big, I think he's going to beat me to the grave. And I got him by a good 20 years. And the funny thing is, it seems like for some reason, men, we like to overlook that small thing. Women want security forever. They don't want security and then you pass away and then they're left with nothing. And especially if you're an African American male, most likely we are not in a position to give somebody lifetime insurance and all that fancy stuff or something if we pass away. We just not. So the least he could do is get moderately healthy. You know, the least he could do is get moderately healthy. Here we go.
Someone come up and speak to womanhood as a culture, to speak to womanhood as a social construct and how those interactions are. I appreciated the logic behind his stance.
Oh, Tony, I'm interested in this. Okay. Do you think that if the cultural idea that you're picking up on that women are infallible, is that new? Is that something that's just popped up, or is that something that you've seen and experienced throughout your whole life?
Great question. She got this.
Is something that I personally experienced my entire life. In context, I am the son of a single mother. I am the grandson of a traditional Southern Black woman. And my grandfather, watching his interaction with my grandmother, we can tell I have more of a matriarchal family than I have a patriarchal family. So, and I'm born in 86. I told you I'm 35. So I'm growing up in a time where, number one, the way that I'm told to be a man is coming from women. And
so what I want to know is where'd the man go? Okay, that's what I want to know. Susie Bear breaks it down like this: I would run from him. They make excuses for males like can't apply the same logic to a woman. Bars, who said offensive things yet said a lot of informative, correct words. Bars. Susie Bear keeps it going with this. This liar said that women are looked at as infallible. He didn't catch me with that either. When they have whole religion stating that women are the reason why they are not living in paradise. Bars.
That I've learned through life to love women, to show up for women, and to be there for women, and to interact with women based off the terms that women have set in my life. I didn't have a father growing up, so I didn't even see those interactions I didn't see healthy dynamics between men and women. So when I get to college,
he's basically blaming the people who kept him alive. And I've seen this a lot. Mr. Let Go did the same thing, where they blame the person that literally did all the heavy lifting and kept them alive for existing. Because they don't notice how he didn't say my father left us and didn't come back, or he could have been in my life, but he didn't. He didn't say any of that. He went straight into blaming women. And that's why he's making the connection with Kevin Samuels. That's why.
when I get to adult age, I was, and for a very long time, was considered what people call a simp, doing anything for affection, doting on women, not unnecessarily, because the genuine attraction is there, the love is there, the admiration is there, but the responsibility to go back and forth and problem solve, typically it's my fault. With my grandmother, the things that I did as a man or a young man that didn't.
Well, it sounds like to me he should have chose better.
Mesh with what she had, what the ideas that she had for me made me wrong. Me not being able to do things or sacrifice things because my mom wants me to do something right now, for example, I'm wrong. In relationships, when we're having meaningful discussions and there's a certain point where I feel like I back down from my stance because you lose access to sex, to relationship, to all that kind of stuff. So it's not that I hate women. It's not that I have a problem with women. It's just the construct of womanhood has been something like I've grown up in a woman-led society. You know, we can openly say all the time that
a woman-led society. See, right now he's just throwing out some stuff that is just not making any kind of sense whatsoever. I mean, it's almost like he pre-canned this. He has to understand that he is not looking as good as he could, and he's not doing as good as he could. There's no reason for him to be as heavy as he is, okay, and for him to be as not as groomed as well as he could be, okay, and get a woman. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just, that's not going to happen. Even if she starts a relationship with you, sooner or later, that's going to wear her down. You know?
All men are trash. I can hear that. No one bats an eye. I can see statuses that say loving a man is mental illness, and I can't say anything about it. I live in Los Angeles, and I'm considered a...
No, see, he's making up myths. And Kim is being very patient, but she has a different style of commentary than me. Let's put it that way. She's patient. She's gonna wait for that bomb to come out, and then she's gonna go boom. Watch.
Dusty by my contemporaries just because I don't make a certain amount of money. And for a very long time, that made me feel a certain way, that I'm not a viable person in this particular dating market because of what I do and don't have. And that forced
Queen Big Bertha. Oh man, you guys, welcome Ella Ripley to the house. Here we go.
That feeling has been ever present since I was a child.
So where do I go here? The first thing I want to ask you about is the money thing. The money thing is a big thing in conversations right now. Like that is like the main thing that we
basically she didn't even want to. She basically was just saying, okay, he's on his little milk crate. You know, let him get his milk crate on. You know, Phoenix, so he definitely ain't running after no women. That's for sure. I mean, that is for sure. And I'm not trying to big shame him, but his hero did. He big shamed. If he showed up, if a female version of him showed up on Kevin Samuels' show, they would shame him for at least 30 minutes. At least. And he'd be going, Big Shirley in the house. That's what he would be doing. So I can understand if it goes both ways. Let's put it that way.
we be arguing about in
Right.
relationship conversations right now. Is that new?
The money conversation is not new, but I have this, especially within Black culture.
Exactly, JG Music. Thank you. You get it. He has given into the Kevin Samuels mental illness crew. Bars.
I'm a big fan of hip hop, and I argue with friends that
Okay,
hip-hop,
the fact that he said hip hop is already a problem. Being a big fan, which is the thing is that what I find funny is that hip hop proponents or defenders will say, well, hip hop has nothing to do with the community, but hip hop is a culture. I know this because I was a DJ for 30 years. It's a culture too. So the problem is it's tied into pimp culture, very, very closely knit to pimp culture. So that being the case, you can see the influence it has on men. That's why a lot of men run through women, because they got a pimp mentality.
Is a really, really good way to detail or to explore the relationship between blackness and black masculinity and its relationship with capitalism. You know, hip hop in its earlier forms was not as braggadocious. It wasn't as money conscious. It was more so about person, about self.
Yeah, I mean, even in the beginning, and I was there, trust me, okay. It wasn't as clean as everybody puts, claims it to be. There was a larger amount of, let's say, conscious hip hop back then, or decent hip hop back then. But then then Two Live Crew came out, and then it was all over with. And that was in the 80s, by the way. So that it started crumbling. It started crumbling even far back as then. That right there. Corey Coburn says this: you would not have to run. This dude couldn't get a real woman, and he is just spewing the reasons why he is single. Bars. What he needed to be spewing is, okay, I need you to get to the gym 4 days a week, 1 hour a day, 1,500 calories max per day. That's what he needs to be focusing on. See, this is the thing. He just looking at him is the obvious reason why he's not getting a woman. You're not putting in the work to get the woman. Every man will have his weakness. His weakness is weight and what I would call the ecosystem around his weight. The way that he got like that is the reason why he's not getting women. Welcome Oya in the house. He heavy breathing and just talking. Imagine trying to climb on top of a woman. Oh man. Anyway, let me keep it going. Here we go.
About who you are. And then we get to a certain point where after certain people begin to get money, and when more people start to become rich off this particular thing, hip hop became a lot less about, we and more about me. I listen to a lot of music where people are stunting on.
I agree. That's exactly that. I agree with them 100% on that.
Oh, my weed costs more than your house note, and this is the kind of stuff that people are feeding into. So the conversation about money,
but he has to understand that's the kind of rhetoric that his Kang savior says. That's something that Kang, that's all. When you think about it, all that braggadocious shit he's talking about, Kevin Samuel did. Oh yeah, I went and bought this perfume, and he did it in a feminine way, but he was still braggadocious. Oh yeah, and I'm riding around in this, I got myself a Tesla rented, and then so my high quality apartment rented. Oh yeah, and this and that. But he was being braggadocious, dressing up in a nice suit, showing off some jewelry, had a fancy watch and everything, but barely could pay his car note. No, I'm sorry, he didn't have a car note. He had a leaky BMW. My bad. Anyway, you see my point. Let me keep it going.
Is not necessarily new, but the over dependence on money as the measure of a man is something that I'm seeing a lot in society now. Yeah.
Okay, but
Mhm.
if hip hop has been over the past 30 years, right? Like the dominant form of like Black cultural expression, the most popular form of Black cultural expression, and now it's like the most popular form of music, right?
Yes.
How can we point to women as being the source or the primary purveyors of money equals masculinity when you're acknowledging that is the center of this huge cultural force?
Oh, that's a really good question. The way that I'm understanding is you're asking where does the woman influence come into how men feel about their pockets and their money?
Right. Aren't women just repeating back what men have been saying over the past 30 or 40 years?
Bars. Queen. Oh man, bars. So that's the boom she was waiting for. Okay. Now I see what I see what's going on. Okay. That's why the manosphere can't stand her. Because when she cooks. Her highly educated self comes out. They hate that. They hate that. Here we go.
You know what? Arguably, I'd say yes. I will say yes. I can't. As much as I want to fight that particular notion, it is something that I feel to be true. But at the same token, though, that in itself, I can't argue that point. I can't argue that point. I want to, but I don't have the. Actually, I do. I do want to argue that point.
Oh, he's trying to think of what he's doing right now. He's as a friend of mine used to say, he's looking through his 2-page pamphlet, Kevin Samuel's manual, to see what type of narrative he could squeeze out. Because yeah, that's what's going on right now. Here we go.
We've gotten to a point where if not all, I don't feel like all men are men who have, I don't feel like all men are men who have led with money. Like I got into civil service following my grandfather's footsteps. So I definitely was a person who
what does that have to do with her answer? What does that have to do with her I'm sorry, not her answer, but her question? How did we get to civil service? This used to drive a friend of mine crazy when she was on the panel. Oh man. Man. She'd be like, oh my God, can you stay on the question?
Decided to and chose to take a more liberal arts approach towards the world. So I'm not a high earner. At the same token, I feel as if hip hop has had space for people who exist outside of that. You don't see Mos Def, stunting. You don't see your Pharaoh Monches and stuff like that.
Okay, but what percentage of hip hop these days is a Mos Def or a Pharaoh hip hop? It's like what? 5% maybe? 10 if you want to be generous?
Something. So there has been space for people who don't have that orientation. But I feel at large, women at large in a cultural force are looking to be taken care of and looking to be with somebody who's more financially stable just off the fact that they believe that it's attainable.
Okay. My follow-up to that is going to be, Kevin Samuels also felt like men needed to make money. So what's the difference between Kevin Samuels saying that men need to get their shit together and learn how to make money and pay if they want to be respected, and a woman saying it?
There is no difference between it. However, at the same on the other side of the coin, he had the stance where he would say that there are men graduating from college alongside women who don't want to date them based off of how much money.
Susie Bear, D9, I'm sorry. He needs to lay off them wangs and chitlins. I know those folds smell like it's out.
That they're going to be making. Like it used to be at the time that maybe in the 60s. This is per his particular explanation that, back in the day, you can graduate college, you and this person decide to go into life together versus me having to have myself fully together.
Now, I need to stop right here for a minute because right around the same time that Kimberly is having this nice, smooth conversation with this guy, very civilized and stuff. Back then, my chat has matured quite a bit. Let me put on my chat has matured quite a bit. But we was hanging. We was cleaning clocks back then. Okay, and what I mean is this: is that we was roasting these brothers up in there. She is being very, very patient. Don't get me wrong, we weren't rude. It's just with the crew we had back then, if you were there to be picked apart, you were going to be picked apart. You all know, y'all that were there of the beginning, you know how we got down back then. Intellectually picked apart, but you were going to be picked apart. If you weren't top, you were going to be picked apart. That's just what happened in there. That was our niche back then. That's what we did back then. No yelling back and forth, at least not, for a long time. But no, you were going to get picked apart. Kim is being very kind, yet the manosphere still attacked her. That's how disgusting they are. She's being more than accommodating, more than fair, more than kind. Okay. But believe it or not, they attacked her. I don't know. Maybe because she's a woman, they give her less of a leash. But, dudes hate me. Don't get me wrong. The red pill does not like me. They do not like me. But they give her just as much or more grief, even though she's been, in my opinion, more gracious than me to these men. Go figure. Let me keep it going.
Meet people who are around my age and economic bracket, but still find me to be insufficient because there's this promise that there's more. There's this promise that there is.
No, you're insufficient because you could look. Any woman that really, even if she likes him, any woman's going to logically say, look, you're going to die soon. You just can't hold that much weight and it not be muscle and live the long life that she wants. JG Music breaks it down like this. He acts as if women are obligated to him. Exactly. Like all of them do. A woman don't have to choose him. Correct. He acts like women shouldn't have a choice to whom they want to be with. Exactly. I'm sure, believe it or not, and he probably meets women that really like him, but I guarantee you, he doesn't like them. That's what's going down. Let me keep it going.
Someone better out there. This is also going in the direction of where society is now. Tinder generation, there's always more options available. At the same token, I do understand, and this speaks to how I was previously spoke earlier about how I was raised by women and blah, blah, blah. There was a certain amount of assertion that I know that I didn't have. There was a certain amount of go get it that I didn't have. So him telling me that if I want better options, if I want better outcomes, if I want access to different women, that there might be things that I have to do to make myself more viable in this.
There you go. You could have started right there. He could have started right there. Make myself more viable. We could end this right there. There's the basic core problem that the majority of the men in the manosphere have, if not each and every one of them. It's to make yourself more viable. It's that simple. But they don't want to do that.
Dating market, and I do understand that.
Okay, now something that I am really sympathetic to here is you saying that women who make as much money as you do look down on you. I think that's a legitimate gripe. So who then is your dating pool, right? I think
right. The thing is this. If the women that are making equal to him are looking down on him and they're making equal money, it's probably not just the money. What they're looking down on is the fact that you got another human being in you. Literally, I was a fitness trainer. I know. He's literally got another human being. He literally needs to lose at least 200 pounds. He's 350, not 200, maybe 150. I'll be nice and say 150. And the thing is, do you notice how he's just kind of completely ignoring that? It comes to mind for a second and then goes out, and then he wants women to accept him for the way he is. But I guarantee you the type of women he wants aren't the type of women that want him. And that's his problem. That's his problem. And see, that's the thing that Kevin Samuels does, is he convinces men and Kevin Samuels and company, Kang Samuels and company, they're telling men not to do anything to get better. Instead, they created this network of really, as Kim put it, a network of terrorism against women to try to beat women down to accept somebody like him in the shape that he's in, who's not mentally really ready for a relationship in the first place. Yeah, it's him. It's him. Well said. Let me keep it going.
There definitely is something to women do not, most women, not me, I've already said this. Women do not want to, they want to look up, honestly, right? Like patriarchy tells us.
I'm sorry for being maybe a little harsh on him, but he comes from a man that bashes women that are his literal weight counterparts. So you would think if he was really a logical thinking man, he would say, hey, Big Shirley is just as big as me. And he's going in on Big Shirley. That insults me too. Obese people need love too. That's what he should be saying. But that's not what he did, is it? He ignored that shit. He ignored that shit and kept, he was probably in there, probably one of the meatiest chatters too. I've seen some of the guys who interview in my time on YouTube. I've seen some guys interview all calm and relaxed, but then you catch them when when they don't think you're looking, and they just the most evil people you've ever seen. So he might have two sides to him for all we know. Here we go.
Like protect and provide. You want to find somebody who makes more than you, has more education, has more prestige, and so the man that you're looking across from is not good enough. Do you encounter that in your?
Exactly. He's not really, quite honestly. I mean, I understand that you can. He's working with women that are around his not his weight. I was about to say his weight, his money amount, but that's not the only. Obviously that's not the only requirement women have. It's not the only requirement. And it's funny because first they say, oh, you just want me for my money. And then when they don't pick you because of your money, then, oh, you didn't choose me. JG Music says this, he needs to stop hitting on women he works with and go somewhere to get women. I don't know. I mean, he needs to go to the gym. He really does. He needs to really just abstain and go to the gym. Really. Every freaking chance he gets. Go home sore every day. Protein powder drink, a couple protein powder drinks at most. Get on that keto. Do a 16-8, fasting at least 3 times a week. I mean, he's got a lot of work. To see, the thing is this. A man, you need to realize when you have a lot to work to be done before even getting into a relationship. Women are wisely waking up and saying that fixer-upper dude is not available. That's just not going to work. Before he should even think about dating or asking somebody out, is to get his weight down by at least 60 pounds. Groom himself better. I think he has potential. I really do. Groom himself better, lose some weight, get a little musculature on you, and I guarantee you he'll see things will be different. With the most basic things, he doesn't have to learn any pimp slang. He doesn't have to learn any games. All he needs to do is just better himself. Women will catch that energy and and they will be attracted to him. But he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to do the obvious. He needs to do the obvious. He doesn't want to do it.
Dating life.
To a degree. I have been privileged enough to be able to develop myself in ways to make me more viable for people, to have other strengths that don't rely on me financially being there. So it doesn't impact me as much as I like to say.
Where's the viability? Because basically the obvious thing that the elephant in the, no pun intended, people, but the elephant in the room is the elephant in the room. Fellas, if you are in this type of shape, or even if you're a little bit thinner, don't worry about women right now. Get healthy. Get to the point when a woman looks at you, she's not worried about if she is married to you, you're going to die soon. I'm telling you. Okay? I got this guy by 20 years, and I swear to God, he's going to go before I do. That should not happen. Look, I just solved all you manosphere dudes. I just solved your problem right here. Get mentally and physically in shape. That's all you need to do. You'll get all that bullshit submission and everything you want. But you have to be mentally and physically in shape. If you're not willing to do that, then expect what, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. That's what's going to go down. Okay? Yep. Susie Bear, you nailed it. Ugliest black men are the meanest, and the darker, the uglier are the more evil. Hey, I used to argue that, but after what I've seen lately, it tends to be leaning that way. It tends to be, mind, body, and soul. Well said and enlightened femme.
Say it impacts other people that I know. But I will say, repeat your question one more time, just so I can make sure I have my thoughts.
By the way, me giving by giving the facts about getting your mind and your body together, that's what these guys call me bashing them. Because the reason why they're saying that I'm bashing them is because they'll never do that shit. So it must be an insult if I'm just mentioning something impossible for them to even fathom to do.
All right.
Do you encounter women who are similarly situated as you, socioeconomically, who make as much money as you, who look down on you?
Physically, Kim?
Sometimes, yes. As someone who dates a lot, there are times, and there have been times where, for example, during the pandemic, unfortunately, my car got stolen, and I haven't been able to get another one. Conversations can be really good with somebody on OkCupid. Hey, it's time for a first date. Hey, do you mind if we take the train to such and such? Oh, you don't drive? Not right now. No, thank you. Okay.
I'll be honest.
He's not ready. I answer. There's the answer right there. He's not ready. No car, no health. Okay. And obviously he's not making enough at his job, because if you get your car stolen, you have insurance. If you have insurance, you may not get a whole lot for your car, right? But you can put it as a down payment to a new car. Things always crumble like this. Things always crumble like this. I'm telling you, look at this. Look at what we're seeing. Not only is he out of shape, but if you can't afford, if somebody I am not the richest guy right now either. I am not, but if my car got stolen, well, I got another, okay. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be able to get another car. Okay. If I have to use credit, I'll use credit. The thing is this, he's got a job, and I thought it paid well, but if you can't I'm telling you, people get their cars stolen every day. Next day, they're at the car dealership, whether it's a used putt or something. You can still get. I mean, the thing is this. You can buy a decent running car for $2,000 or $1,500. Think about it like this. This is why he exposed himself with this. And it's important for everybody to see this. If you got a good job, then you got savings. Okay? Unless you're house poor. So, if you got a good job and you have savings, then you probably have enough money floating around to at least put a down payment on a car. Even if it's a used putt. You can go to a used car dealership, and it's not good business. Usually you want to buy a used car cash, but you can usually get a putt for about, put down $500 or $700. You still have it. Maxis. I bought a car believe it or not, I bought a car in the middle of COVID. Took me months to get plates, but I bought a car. So that's not the excuse. The fact of the matter is that I assume that we can only assume that he's still working, because there are some jobs that what they do is they make you work from home. Okay. Bottom line, he still doesn't have one right now. We've been about 2 years out of COVID, a year and a half? He's got a grocery note. Oya says this. No, he wants someone to pick up his big ass. He better use a ride share. I hear that. Yeah, and that's the weird thing. I'm sorry, if you don't have a car in today's society, don't get me wrong, there will be some women who will accept that. But you've lowered your options by at least 40%. No, 60%. Is that who I think it is, Max? I'm not being dishonest. I could show you. You know what I should do? One of these days. No, I can't because there's people around here who do weird shit. Okay, I would prove that to you, that the date that I purchased my vehicle was during COVID, but there's some weird people, so I can't. So let me keep going. Here we go.
I'll be honest with you, Tony.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Go ahead. Tell the truth.
If I started
Alan breaks it down like this. I just paid $24,000 on a used Tesla 2020. I haven't gotten it delivered yet, but my husband is going to be pissed. Oh, he is, but he loves you though, and he needs to roll you around. I could have gotten a brand new. Well, 24 for 2020, 24,000. Depends which model you got and everything like that. But yeah, you got to roll. But if you haven't got it delivered yet, there is a chance you can. If it hasn't been delivered yet, you might want to talk to him about it and see if you guys should cancel that and then get a better deal. But other than that, that's not outlandish. It depends on the mileage and stuff. But talk to your husband. Talk to your husband. But let me go on. I got to get back in here. Here we go.
Talking to somebody, and they told me that they didn't have a car, especially in LA.
KG breaks it down like this. There is no excuse to not have a car. And proving his health is something can control by watching what goes in his mouth. Exactly. So no car and too much weight. It looks like to me he could save up money for a car just by reducing his caloric intake. I'm not trying to be mean, but that's what I would look for.
Which is driving culture.
Susie Bear breaks it down like this. I'm not a colorist. I'm beautifully dark-skinned. It's dark-skinned black men who hate being dark-skinned. They are so mean and spirited. Dark as has nothing to do with ugly. I'm saying that it's the darkest, ugliest maze. Here we go.
I would have some concerns.
But if she doesn't either, then why is the date not going to happen? You would have done anything the same way that this young lady, or I'll say that I've had this experience 3 times. I don't want to make it seem like it's broad, but if you are also getting around the same way that I do, ride share, public transportation, and using your feet, then why are you expecting to get around in a way that you don't even facilitate for yourself?
Oh, looks like Max's is getting me good here, guys. Look at this. But here's a better question. I'm gonna give some oomph. DJ Torch, why are you still single? Gotcha. Some people, have you heard that old school song, Maxis? I don't know how old you are. Single. Some people like the single life. One of the reasons I like the single life is I get to go fishing anytime I want. Us old people, we like different shit. You know, single is great for some people. I happen to be one of those people. I don't run around hoeing or nothing. I don't have that kind of thing. I got other things to do, you know? It's like, you have to understand, Maxis, you're coming from a point of needing somebody or wanting somebody badly in your life all the time. When really, quite honestly, some people, they just like the sanctity of their own place. They like to come home. Everything's where they left it. You know, it's peaceful. They get to watch the movies they want to watch anytime they want to watch it. You know, they get to, you know, go shop when they want to go shop. I can go shop at the grocery store at 1 a.m. if I want to and not wake anybody up. You know, I can go fishing and I don't have to ask permission or nothing. You see, some people are just like that. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure I won't be single for the rest of my life, but right now I'm really digging it. I'm really digging it. If I didn't want to be single, I wouldn't be single. Let's put it that way. You have to understand and respect that. Not single. I'm not single and hoeing. I'm just plain single. That's it. That's why I'm single. You asked me why I was single. Why I'm still single. I'm telling you. If you don't understand it, that's your problem. I think everybody else understands. If everybody understands where I'm coming from, put a 1 in the chat. 2 if you're confused. 3 if you don't. Go ahead. I know I'm going to get some 2s and 3s. But I mean, the single. I don't want nobody. And you know, that doesn't care about me. I don't know the words that well, so just go with me. But yeah. And see, that's the funny thing. I can tell that more than likely this person here is probably chocolate red pill identified. Because I've never had a person of another race ask me that question. Or mentality ask me that question. You know? It's, believe it or not, Maxis, we're men. We're more than likely going to die alone, which is ironic. We're more than likely going to die alone than women, which is funny to me that Kevin said that, you know, black women, they're going to die alone with a dog. Well, look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Oye Terminador Negro says this. The woman that will settle for this, once he gets back on his square, he's going to date who he really wants. Exactly. They usually don't want to deal with women that have seen them at their worst. Bars. Yeah. Susie Bear, that's what I feel. Maxis has a fear of being single because why would you ask somebody that if that was supposed to not be a flex? I can't wait to see my fly rods. That's what I can't wait to see. Phoenix Soul breaks it down like this. I just bought my youngest son a car. Bought one for his brother a few years back, and one for myself. So nah, bro. Exactly. I mean, you have to understand, especially, I think it's even more, and this is Max's, this is even more important for women, especially when they go through things that men put them through. Single feels so fucking good. You think I feel good? Go through something and then be single. And let me tell you, women are not tripping. Women are not tripping. That's why, and that's the problem that men have. Men, you saw that video I played, men are more lonely than women are. I think women want relationships more, but men are more lonely than women. That's just the way it is. Then let me get back here to Kim. Here we go.
I understand where you're coming from. I think that the traditional response would be in a patriarchy, because I understand that you're saying in your family, it's more matriarchal, it's woman-led, emphasis on women. But
That's right there. Him thinking that way, automatically just he's ruining his own game. He's ruining his own game. Now he's got that in his mind when he's meeting women, and women are very, very, very sensory intelligent. They know when something's wrong. And he doesn't realize that. See, a lot of men think they're hiding stuff. Some men are better at hiding stuff than others, but he's not one of them. So what he doesn't understand is they're picking up on that and they're saying, there's something wrong here.
Agree that society in general is a patriarchy, or maybe we don't agree on that.
Oh no, I 100%. I am anti-patriarchy. I don't like any system that
You can't be listening to Kevin Samuels and then be anti-patriarchy. That's weird. Because basically that's Kevin Samuels' base code. Let me go ahead.
It probably comes off. I am a diehard feminist. I don't believe that there should be any institution, there should be any force, any legislature, anything that limits what anybody can do. And that's just my particular stance as a black man. Like, I don't, knowing how it impacts me, I also don't.
It's weird because Kevin Samuels, he's all about giving women limitations. A woman has to be fit, feminine, friendly, and submissive. What part of that isn't patriarchy, and what part of that is free or uncontrolled?
That to happen to women, black and otherwise. So it's not a stance where I'm like, oh, pro-patriarchy. That is a system that is run by immature men, by masculine men. I mean, by immature masculinity, people who need to subjugate someone to feel better. I'm not on that level. But you're telling me that on a first date, walking around the park to get to know somebody isn't something that we can do? I got to take you to fuck with a child?
No, you don't.
Phoenix Soul says this. What people don't get is that constant seeking for outside stimulation or validation, or both, via a relationship is operating in a lower nature. Bars. Let me tell you, Phoenix Soul, you just Phoenix Soul, Phoenix Bars, same thing. She drops them. Okay, so Max's is coming back again. Here we go again. Let's here we go again. Wrong. I asked you a question. First of all, Max, this is my show, not yours. But I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be patient because you were talking about that man's dating choices. Stick to the point. My point is what I'm doing right now, bro. I'm doing my show. There's no point. See, the thing is this, Maxis, I think you had this. I mean, I appreciate you being here, but at the same time, you have to understand that I'm not here to just satisfy every question you ask me. I do the best I can, but you're one of 40 people in here. Okay? I mean, if you want, I tell you what, Maxis. Come up to the chat next, come up to the panel next live stream. That's near whatever you want to ask. Might be a couple days from now, might be tomorrow, who knows? We'll have a long talk about it. We can talk all you want. I'll give you about, 10 minutes. And you can get it all out. But right now, I got to get back to my show. For sure.
You don't have to take me to fuck with a child, but I'm in my mid-30s. Like, I'm not walking around in the park on a first day. Okay, we don't have to, but
no, I mean, no, but let's explore that. I tell people all the time, like, what's wrong? Okay, what's wrong with me being a citizen? We have public transportation for a reason. It's not a poverty thing. It is a means in which some people get around. I am maybe 2 months away from saving as much as I want for my down payment, which means that I'm not out here doing what I'm doing needlessly. I'm doing it for a purpose. If my car didn't get stolen, I would have one. So then why do I not get the benefit of what my circumstance is? If I bought a new car and then when it got stolen, I was upside down on it, which means that I have to financially work to get back to the place where I can get it. That particular situation shouldn't limit my interaction with people.
Yes, it should. Yes, it should. It's messed up, but your financial situation will limit that, because sooner or later, especially if you're a man, you'll need to support somebody, right? But if, I understand. I mean, the thing is this. Let's put it this way. He is younger than me, probably making more money than me. Okay. He gets his car stolen. He's upside down, and he's technically telling us he's broke because he's upside down, right? If my car gets stolen, I'm pissed, but I'm not upside down. So there's something he did with his money that wasn't right. Because as a younger man, you have more earning power. He's probably in his late 30s, early 40s. Who knows? He's got more earning power because jobs don't like people that are up there, because our asses are going to retire soon. So he has all that earning power, but he's upside down in his car and he can't pay it off. And it's messed up, I understand. But that's because somewhere earlier in his financial life, he made some mistake. And if he was paying a car note, best advice I can give you guys right now, buy gap insurance. Pay that little extra $6 or $7 a month. It might be $15. If you can't afford to lose your car, by golly, get gap insurance. JG Music says this: women are not miserable being single, and you don't have to answer to anyone when you're single. Bars. Women love independence. Women love being by themselves, fellas. They love being in a relationship too, but don't get me wrong, they love being by themselves too. They love being by themselves. So, quite honestly, using a relationship as a flex, as Kevin Samuels did, even though he was, handling a rotation of 6 women, is not going to work. Women are catching up to that. The proverbial word, I can do bad by myself, gets played a lot. And really, quite honestly, for a lot of women, they're doing better by themselves, because I believe Rat Girl's in the house. I believe, from what I remember, a woman who marries a black man marries into poverty most of the time. Most of the time. And by the way, Maxis, I already answered your question, told you what I can do for you, and that's it. If you want to get on Soap Crate, you got to get on Soap Crate on the mic. That's it. Here we go.
And furthermore, I know that LA has car culture, whatnot, but if I were in New York and didn't have a vehicle, it would be okay for me to say, hey, take the L to the whatever and meet me here. So it's a circumstantial.
New York then. You see how he's kind of like trying to win the argument and not find a solution? That's his problem.
I do want to say that I also live in what Kevin Samuel says is one of the most difficult dating markets. So I do understand that. So my adjacency to Hollywood.
Brother, he gone. He also said that older women will buy a dog and die alone. Look what happened to him. And those women that he said that to, they living their best lives. I'm not trying to be mean. What I'm trying to do Okay, it show you the plain point blank reality. The king is gone, and he's gone for the very opposite reason that he dissed women for. I'm not, it's just the way it is, bro. There's nothing else to be said.
I've been on dates with women who are maybe transplants to LA and tell me that I don't feel like an LA dude. I'm born and raised here. I'm from Compton. But I don't have any adjacency to Hollywood. I am not pretty enough to get to the clubs off my looks. I am not a thug. I am not a baller, and I don't play sports. So where do I fit in this particular LA?
In the gym?
By my particular example, would be a place that is
in the gym. That's your first spot. Don't even think about where you fit or who you fit into. You know, you can fit in that gym. Let me drop the link just one more time, just in case somebody comes up this time. If not this time, definitely we're going to start doing more open mics. So it's going to be live all the way live. You know, I'm a Lakeside fan as well. Here we go.
Very superficial, very socially and societal, very socially based off of what's trending and whatnot. Where do I fit? Well, I'm gonna tell you this quick little story.
I'm trying to tell them you fit in the gym. 1 hour a day, 4 to 5 days a week, fasting 16/8. You might even want to fit in some keto. In fact, I highly recommend it. Save your life. Bring your weight down, get some muscle on. Okay? Get a trim. He said he has a job, right? Get a trim every 2 to 3 weeks. Look good, smell good. See what happens. But bro, you got at least mentally and physically, you got at least 2-year grind. Go to a therapist if you don't believe what I'm saying. I'm telling you, they will tell you the same thing. It's just that easy. I mean, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy at all, but it's that simple. It's really, sometimes the simplest answer is the hardest to do.
Look, have you ever heard of something called the Soho House?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a friend who's an actor. He is a very well-known
look at his watch. His watch. Look, take off your damn watch. I got the similar watch. I think you may not have. I have the Ultra, but take the damn watch off. Get $200 and buy a $1,000 car. Put your $200 down. You got a job, so you know you can pay the note. Don't know what you do with the upside down thing, but that's what you can do. I'm giving you some. Boom. That's the best advice I can give you. Here we go. Rat girl. This dude is bummy AF and wants a non-homeless woman, basically. Yeah, that's scary. He might start getting desperate following women home. Yep. He could very well go there. He probably would never actually focus on himself and work out, but he should definitely go to therapy. Bars. JG Music. Strum is in the house. Unfortunately, he won't qualify to serve in the U.S. Army. Too obese. Yep.
We are best friends. He invited me to a comedy show where one of his female comedians was performing, and she's also not from this country. She's from a different country. First of all, one of her first jokes: who is a member here and who's the broke ass friend that tagged along? Jesus Christ. Okay, this is where we're starting. Hearing someone talk about how she finds LA men to be insufficient, how she finds them not to be.
She was telling a damn joke. Look, I DJ'd for comedians for about 5 to 6 years in the Bay Area. They're jokes. Now, don't get me wrong. Some comedians, they pull from maybe an ideology or from real life, but not all the time. Just answer the damn joke and have a good laugh.
on her standard as far as money, this and the third. That's cool. That's your stance. We talk after the show, and she's like, you know what? You're kind of cool. You're kind of cute. Blah blah blah. I was like, well, you know, by your definition, I'm a dusty. She's like, what do you mean? She's like, what do you do for work? I said, I work on Skid Row. You know, the homeless community that's a mile away from where we are right here. I've dedicated my life to helping homeless people because I understand how hard.
Who said that he was homeless? I want to say, who said he was a homeless? Oh, Rat Girl. Good night, Rat Girl. We'll catch you on the next one. Rat Girl always had to go to sleep early, and she's got a healthy life. That's what's going on. That is what's going down. Everybody say good night to Rat Girl, please. She's a real one. So he basically, you want to know something? I bet he used to be homeless or still is now. And that's why he's in the situation he is in. And this is the quality that the manosphere has to bring to Black women. Nothing wrong with it. But when you start ridiculing Black women, that's a problem. No, you can't be homeless and you can't date a Black woman that probably is in decent shape, is working, okay, and has a car.
LA is. Oh, well then by that notion, you are somebody who's not dusty. So then where does your logic go? Because at first on stage, dustiness was based off of how much money I can spend on you.
He was just being nice to her. He was just being nice.
But then once you learn who I am and what I do and where my heart is, why am I a more valuable person? Why am I somebody who now is worth your time of attention? If I had money, then that would have been something that cuts through it. And I don't think that that's fully patriarchy. I think that that's the expectation of women these days, that every man is supposed to have money. And if you don't have that, then you're not worth my time.
I can tell you that's not true. I've seen women, the struggle love comes to mind. Okay. Not only that, remember, what is the saying? Ride or die. And then what he would do is if a woman told him a story about struggling or ride or dying with somebody, right? He said, oh, well, you should have chose better. He should have chose better. Ladies and gentlemen, that's part one. It's 3 hours in. I think we did good tonight. We did good. If you like the show, put a 1 in the chat. 2, if you think the show needs some work. 3, if it was trash. You know, this is DJ Torch. I'm going to hit the beat. Feel free to chat all you want. As long as you guys keep chatting, I will keep the music going. Other than that, this is DJ Torch. And Sandy Red's in the house. Don't worry, Sandy Red. You know, it's we got a replay game that's in the house that comes through too. Here we go. Conscious Mind Love. Here we go. Thank you everyone for coming through. I really do appreciate it. Hope to see you on the other one.
In this moment, yes, I cannot say what's wrong or right.
In the house.
It's not hard to fool me.
Ellen Ripley, Peter Ward, JG Music, Andy Red, Uzi Pear, Rena West, The Enlightened Femme, Red Headphones, The Award, Kim Mills, Conscious Mind, we are coming to do another. Phoenix Soul, Mistress Ruby, D9.
So tell you good night, 'cause I'll find a better one.
Rap Girl,
yeah.
Ruby Bear,
Susceptible man, before the moment flies.
Drummond and Renship.
So tell you good night, 'cause I'll find a better one.
Break it down, break it down, break it down.
Susceptible man, before the moment flies.
Red Headphones.
play.
Hey, Brown.
Cause I know what I'm getting into.
Practice.
Nothing can stop me.
New Diamond.
Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize.
Tanya Sweat.
The way I follow.
Other than the lockdown guy. Mystic Moon.
I follow to the edge of it all. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find a better one. Yeah. Susceptible eyes. Before the moment flies, before it flies. So tell your good night, 'cause I'll find a better one. Susceptible eyes.
Break it down, break it down.
Before the moment flies.
Thank you for coming through, everybody. See you on the next one.